Wow, wow. I want vagina abs to stick. That sounds so awful.
Daddy, what's that?
Cyborg, I want to point out that you can't say the word wolf. You said night wolf before, and it's pissed me off ever since.
No beta code? I'm surprised.
Not bowing down to the con. That's a paddling.
Hey, Cyrax boy, guess what?
Who the fuck doesn't like Yoshi?
I don't like Yoshi.
What the fuck?
Yoshi.
How do we feel about Tremor? Because I gotta say this. I want to see him come.
Yes, but it's because I'm actually peeing in a bucket at the bottom of my seat. So like,
Naitara's design.
You know, you're saying Naitara again.
Oh shit, thank
Just let it go.
I'm on so many drugs at the moment.
Great. Glad to hear it.
Alright, well, I'm done being serious. We can talk about the taste of cock again. If that's what you guys want to.
Wait, what?
This is my fucking ass hanging out. What, bitch?
Are we even recording right now?
We're not recording, of course not. Nobody's gonna listen to this.
I hear like the sound of like bullets being loaded into a chamber and like shots being fired.
Is it like an air gun? I don't.
I'm hearing like Russian roulette, like right up next to the mic. What's going on? Yep, definitely taking shots with a rifle.
Welcome back to the Netherkast. I am Cyborg, and I am joined, as always, by Temp, Razor, and Shad. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Merry Kwanzaa, and Happy Festivus for the rest of us.
And anything else you happen to or not celebrate. If you don't celebrate anything at all, then that's fine too.
Yep.
Are we inclusive now? Have we got everybody?
I think
so.
Made sure to cover all the bases there. Anyways, if you don't fall under those categories, go fuck yourself, as usual. I mean, we said everybody else, so there should be nobody left.
But if there are, they know what to do.
Exactly. So I've given them guidance in life. Anyways, so this is episode 81. I'm just going to make a quick little plug for the Discord channel. Go to the Discord channel. You can find it both in the description of these videos usually. It's stated on our Facebook page where you can find it. So if you want to come join the live show as we record, go ahead and join the Discord channel. You don't have to, you sign up for Discord, but it's all free. You can either choose to download the app or you can go online, whatever you want to do. We got several people from the Facebook group in here and several other listeners, so you can come join the live show, and then we'll open it up for you to actually come on and talk with us if you want towards the later part of the episode. And we will also be answering questions that are submitted through the Discord throughout the episode as well. Anyways, how's everybody doing before we get to the topic of the day, continuing along with our Mortal Kombat games, favorites and non-favorites, etc. throughout the whole series? How's everyone doing?
I'm looking stimmed. I'm staring down one more day of work until I'm on vacation for a good week. A good week.
You betcha. I'm in the same boat. I took all next week off. I got Christmas off as a paid holiday, and I got New Year's Day off as a paid holiday. So I figure take the other 4 days off next week, and that makes a 10-day weekend.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah, I have to work till Christmas Day and all of New Year's Eve.
That sucks.
But it's okay. Actually, I don't mind. It's all good. Cut my hair, so I have short hair again. That's
yeah. Fun. Join the club.
I just shaved mine down today, as a matter of fact. So I've got the smooth, not smooth, but
too short.
I'm bristly.
Too short.
I'm all bristly. I'm fuzzy.
Too short.
Got some peach fuzz.
Just kidding.
I don't have the Reiko anymore.
I continue to wear mine long.
You wear it. I never thought of hair as something I wear it long. I wear my hair long.
Well,
like it's a hat.
when it can cover your entire head, you think of it as something you wear.
That is true.
It is like a hat.
I trimmed 8 minutes off my shower.
There you go. So,
oh my god, it was the worst part of having long hair down to my ass was just shampooing it. And
yeah, man, did the combing, the
knots. Oh my god, ass hair.
Having a shampoo budget.
Yeah, ass hair is. We got a weird echo going on.
I am not hearing it. It's not me.
It's 'cause it's coming from you.
I don't see how. I don't understand how this is a thing.
I think it's coming from Razor.
No, it's not me.
No, you.
I can hear myself echoing, so it can't be me.
I cannot hear myself echoing. You all sound fine to me.
None of you talk or say anything. We'll try this. La 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 la. Sha-na-na-na. Chicago.
See, it's not doing it now. It's
I think it's coming from you.
It comes and it goes.
This is just really weird
like
and
a
tribal.
Stallion through the night. All right, well, let's just move on then.
Don't
Alrighty
edit
then.
out any of that.
I'm not going to. That requires work. Anyways.
I like where your head's at.
Exactly. We'll move on here. So I have some fun things to address. I got in a car accident a week ago.
Fun things to address.
Yeah, so this guy, this
the sexually transmitted disease.
Yes, absolutely. That's the worst. Happy gonorrhea, Merry syphilis. No, this guy in a truck. He abruptly stopped in front of me, and it was on like, not like a. It's not like a street. It's not like a highway. It's kind of a hybrid of them. I guess a highway. We'll go highway because the speeds are typically higher, anyways. So he slams on his brakes. I slam on my... We just got through an intersection. He slams on his brakes. I slam on mine immediately. And I slide a good 15, 20 feet. My brakes just aren't what they used to be. You know, they've seen better days. And I slide for like 15, 20... I was going to say 15, 20 minutes. That would have been fantastic. That would have been amazing.
That's no longer an accident. That's a ballet. That's what that is.
What can I say? My drifting skills are tremendous. No, I'm just kidding. It was not Tokyo Drift. So I slide 15, 20 feet. And it's one of those moments where I'm like, stop, stop, stop. And I'm thinking this in my head. And then I'm just like, it's not going to stop. Like, it just kept going. Anyways, it slows down to a reasonable degree, but I still hit him. And the impact was straight onto his trailer hitch. So I didn't even like mess up his bumper. His car looks like still in pristine condition, whereas my car got completely demolished because I hit a steel beam in his trailer hitch. So my front end just got all smashed in by a good foot or two, and it's totaled. But after that, a split second later, I got smashed into the back of my car from the person that was behind me. So it was a mess. It was fun. Had some potential concussion where it's good times and stuff. Injuries.
Oh damn.
I can't say it's for sure a concussion. I went to the doctor today just to follow up, and he said it was like first he said it was post-concussion syndrome, but then he kind of caught himself, and he said, well, I shouldn't say it's that. It's post-traumatic. He just gave me some medical mumbo-jumbo. I think it was one of those like...
PTSD.
Yeah, it was like one of those where you can't say shell-shocked, so you gotta... I'm imagining that was the case. So,
Have you been
anyway.
experiencing... I don't know, flashbacks to a man being executed in the back of the head via gunshot.
How did you know?
A crying naked girl running away from warfare.
It's
like
you're
Charlie in the trees.
Yes. Well, I've had some headaches and stuff, so yeah, it's been interesting. But
were you stationed in Da Nang?
Yes, I'm in. But no. So, anyways, I'm all right. Everything's good. All the other drivers were fine. The car's totaled, so I'll have to get. I drove a 99 Honda Accord, so it was nothing special or anything, but anyways, so that's going to be my fun. Like, it was the worst thing because we got a rental, because a rental's built into our insurance coverage. So we had this rental that was going to get me, I was going to use to get me to work and still go and do all that fun stuff. And I was thinking, okay, it was like $35 a day for up to $1,000-something. So we were figuring, okay, that'll get me for like 3 or 4 weeks. So that way I have plenty of time to find a rental, or not a rental, but a used car or whatever I'm going to do. And then as soon as I finished the settlement today of like accepting whatever it was going to be for my car, he tells me, oh yeah, well, we're going to need you're going to need to take the rental in by the 28th. And I'm thinking, okay, so I have a week to find a car is what you're telling me during the holidays. Like, how am I supposed to do that? Anyways, that's the fun fun stuff I'm dealing with.
That's actually what I do for a living. I tell people after their settlement they have 7 days to get a new car. That's actually my job. That's what I do. I wish I could give you a heads up on that. I'm glad you're all right though. That's horrifying. That could be bad.
No, legitimately. I've known a lot of people who have had their lives fucked up by some car accidents. I'm glad you're safe.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, that's all that matters to me, really. I'm not too, like, I wasn't, like, pissed off about any of it. It was just kind of more annoying. But after the whole thing, yeah, it was crazy. Like, when I slid into the person in front of me, the last thing I was even thinking about was somebody hitting me. So that person dominated the shit out of me. Like, I slid into the person in front of me, and I thought I slowed down quite a bit by the time I actually ended up making contact, but like a split second later. So I was prepared for it. So, you know, I was all like kind of ready and bracing myself, and I still, you know, kind of leaned forward after the contact. But then a split second later, I got smashed in the back, which I'm sure threw my head back, giving me some good whiplash and fun stuff like that. So anyways, we can move on to the actual stuff we want to talk about tonight. I just figured I'd share that because it was a fun, interesting scenario. As my headache sets in for the night, we'll get into some Mortal Kombat. Where did we last leave off? We last left off Deception, right?
Deception, yeah.
Man, I just want to say it has been like 5 months, and like Storm Collectibles still have not delivered me my goddamn reptile. What is going on, Storm Collectibles?
Hopefully it's not another scandal like that one, like Psycho or whatever that was.
No, like they've been good so far. I know there was a bit of a delay, but I was expecting the motherfucker like last month. I haven't paid for him yet. I'm on order on the site where he's supposed to come in, and like they tell me, but like the big bad toy store orders haven't shipped yet. I'm wondering if it's like a rights thing because their noobs I bought, their Scorpion, their Sub-Zero, they were all fine, dandy. I love them to pieces, but I want my goddamn reptile, and they're still working on them. Maybe it's not a I don't know, but they recently showed off like Sector and Cyrax and like Kitana and Liu Kang. These things are still in development. What is taking so long with Reptile?
Don't you hate that? I hate when I order something, like pre-order something, and then it's released and it's still like a month after release and you're still wondering where the hell this item even is and you have to badger them about it.
I'm also sitting here and I'm like, I must keep $300 in my bank account at all given times.
Oh, geez, they haven't charged you for it?
I've got to leave it there. No, they haven't. It's just sitting there like the sword of Damocles. I'm waiting for that charge to come in. And Christmas shopping, when you're expecting $100-ish Canadian purchase at any given time, it's not fun.
You know what's going to happen, too. As soon as you, like, drop below the required amount, that's when they're going to try and go and charge you. And then they're going to get not enough funds. And
both of them are still there for pre-order.
Yeah.
Reptile is still available on Big Bad. What the hell is going on? Talk to me, Storm. Talk to me. Help me help you.
But all right, we'll pick back up here. We're starting with MK Armageddon. So,
wait, Armageddon. Did we cover Deception last time?
We did, I believe.
Did we?
No, we're on Deception, I think, right?
I feel like we didn't do Deception.
We did Trilogy, we did MK4, we did MK Gold.
No, I know we did Deadly Alliance.
Okay, so we can start with Deception then.
Because I actually had like a bit I was looking forward to elaborating on for Deception. Because Deception is,
you shouldn't leave it up to the guy that likely has a concussion. You are echoing. It's you, Shad. I knew it the whole damn time.
When you're putting responsibility in my hands, we're walking down a dark path.
I knew it was you. It's you.
It was always me.
It was you. All along. You were always the echoer.
I'm Carlos. I'm Carlos Hotze.
I was gonna say it. Damn it! I was gonna make the Kaiser Sose joke.
This is the part where Kevin Spacey's limp goes away, and then he climbs in bed with a 14-year-old. Got him! Got him! Yeah, buddy. It's not gonna make any sense from like 5 years from now when somebody's listening to this.
Hashtag Valdo.
Anyways.
But anyway.
All right, so Deception. Who wants to kick us off?
I can't. Now I'm just picturing Kevin Spacey as Valdo.
You fucking.
I've always
broke him. You did it.
You broke my brain. All right, no. You know what? I'll kick us off with Deception. Shit I loved and shit I hated. I guess we're going around with love first. So Deception marks the time in my life where I was basically living on MortalKombatOnline.com. Like it had gone from MK5.org to being MK Online because we were like at part 6 now, and I am forever going to remember the hype and the fervor and the build-up because this was like the game with the silhouettes, right? Like
Right.
everyone trying to remember, like guess who everyone was. People like, what the fuck is this two-headed thing? There's no way this is smoke. There's no way that's happening. That's a pyramid. What the hell is this? And like it was so much fun to see all the little details about the game come out and basically live up to almost everything that people wanted to see about the game. It's like, holy shit, they heard us about stage fatalities, and there they are. They're back. And it like just seeing so many characters come back after. Remember, it had been like the better part of a decade plus since we'd seen some of these guys like Ermac or Smoke in a game, and it was wonderful. It was just so rewarding seeing this entire cast slowly being revealed and built up. The hype was just it was out of control, and that probably reflects a great deal on why I found MK Armageddon to be underwhelming, because we were expecting more of the same, and it gave us everyone, and somehow it wasn't. It was not. But we'll get there. So like, I don't know. I think the thing I love the most about Deception was just I kind of want to say the marketing, but at the same time, it also gave us Conquest, and Conquest is just so much fun to run around in and actually get to live in these worlds and punch people for walking around strutting funny. You did it too. And just seeing the living forest and enjoying the background noise and running around and recognizing specific parts of Outworld as stages. It's like, oh, this is the area where they tried to remake the Pit Mountains. So yeah, it's really tough for me to say what the best part of Deception actually is for me, because I enjoyed so very much almost everything. Almost. I'm going to say Conquest in terms of a thing that is actually part of the game. But holy shit, was it ever some sick-ass marketing.
All right.
That's me.
Razor, go ahead. I know you're chomping at the bit.
Okay. So my favorite thing about Deception. The echo's back, by the way.
I know, it's Shad. We've already established this.
No.
I see your green little circle light up sometimes when somebody's talking.
Incorrect.
It's all right. I think it passed.
It comes and goes.
So, my favorite thing about Deception is the fact that it's probably the only game in the series where it felt like they had a plan. Where, like, they made 2 in a row that the story actually connects.
It's all part of the plan.
Like, you can argue that, like, MK3, they probably sort of knew what they were doing going from 2 to 3. But there's still a sense that every game, they just sort of wing it. They like, we're making this game, and then when it's done, we'll figure out what the story is for the next game after. But Deception is like the only game where it's like, yeah, we set up the Dragon King's army so we could do the Dragon King in the next one. Like, it actually feels like a 2-parter. And that's all I want from the series, is for them to plan one game ahead when they make a game. Just, like, have the story be going somewhere. So, yeah, that's
That's sigh.
where I fall on it.
Okay. Temp, go ahead. It's all you.
This one's hard because this is my favorite game in the series, and there's like 5 things competing in my brain. But if I had to pick one, I'm going to say it was the addition of an online fight mode. That was so important historically for the series, and I really feel like Deadly Alliance would have been a different game with it, because before that, my competitive experiences was all in the arcades and with non-Mortal Kombat games. So I get the online mode, and before I would learn Sub-Zero, I would play Sub-Zero, but now I can beat people with Sub-Zero. And now instead of Sub-Zero, it's Smoke, and it's a variety of opponents online all the time. So, and believe it or not, like back then, the netcode wasn't that bad. They kind of cheated, because what they did is they tweaked the frame data. I think they chopped off startup frames on everyone to give the appearance that the connection was better than it was. But it worked, at least in terms of appearances. So I don't remember having real problems back then. And Yeah, I just overall that experience of learning a character, grinding the character, labbing the character, and then taking them online was so important to me. And especially that was the big return of Smoke. So the timing in a way could not have been better. Yeah, and it took me years to do that again. That was my first and last online game for that like 4 year span. I didn't get back into the online thing until Street Fighter 4. So yes, that's probably my favorite part about Deception. In the time it came out, plus 1,000 other things I love about the game.
All right. Are you done clicking away there, Clickerson? Echoey, clicky. It's not you, it's him.
Oh. I thought you were talking about the clicking.
It's the same man with the fingernail clippers.
Fingernail clickers?
Clippers. Don't try and put words in my mouth. I already got more words being put in my mouth from the echo. All right? Just back off.
Which I'm trying very hard to eliminate if it's actually me. And I'm just going further down, and further down the rabbit hole toward app settings.
Do you have do you have headphones?
I do.
Are they in?
Yes, they're in. Don't be my girlfriend. Don't ask me that question, all right?
I'm gonna be your girlfriend whether you like it or not.
Oh. Very offended right now. Trust me to know when it's in.
You just drag the microphone across the floor. That works wonderful.
I did no such thing.
Yeah. All right.
Is somebody going to take a turn? I think it's just
Look,
you
it's
left.
just me. All right. Mortal Kombat Deception. My favorite part about the game, I mean, there's a lot to love. Trust me, this is one of the best Mortal Kombats of all time. But my personal favorite thing about the game that I thought was the coolest was the Conquest mode. I love the Conquest mode that you could go up and talk to basically every character from the history of MK. Characters you never thought you might even see again. All sorts of different realms and all of that stuff. I loved Conquest. Yeah, it's not perfect. It could have been way better. But at the same time, at its time, I thought it was really, really cool. And it's never something I expected in a Mortal Kombat game. So, for me, Conquest mode. That's my jam right there, and it was really interesting. I remember trying to explore areas like Cloud9, all the little hints and secrets and stuff like that that they alluded to, and Fujin and all that good stuff. So having to you had a split second to get Liu Kang's chest. Sounds so sexy, but really I'm just talking about a chest to unlock him. So yeah, Conquest mode. That's that. So let's round it back to least favorite things about Conquest. And I will start my least favorite things. Did I say Conquest? Conquest.
You might have said Conquest.
I was very Conquest.
Conquest. We're talking about Mortal Kombat Conquest. Anyways.
I think I fixed the echo. I no longer hear
anything. My least favorite thing about Conquest is Zero.
There you go. Speaking of characters, that's actually my least favorite part about Deception. And that is some of the new characters, such as Dairu, Darius, Kira, Cobra, the Dragon King, Shujinko, and Zombie Liu. Not a fan. Not a fan of those characters. Sure, some of them could come back and be done better, like Shujinko. Temp has made arguments of why that could be fun. I agree it could be done well. But Dairu, Darius, Kira, Cobra, don't have any desire to see him again. Dragon King, I don't hate in principle or theory. I just didn't like how they made him look. I thought he was a big lumbering oaf and he looked stupid. And
his face is too human. Why does he have a nose?
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't
That's my number one complaint about Onaga.
There's room for kind of a big dragon dude, but he was much more dude. But
yeah, I'm sure if they brought him back, they could do him way better now since they've gotten much better at creating models. It's just at the time I did not dig him. And then Zombie Liu, my complaint with Zombie Liu is don't kill off the main champion of Mortal Kombat. That was such a big deal when Liu Kang was killed, only to bring him back as a zombie/ghost in the next one. I thought that was too soon. It's not that I never wanted Liu Kang back. It's just the very next game you're already shoehorning him back in. So
I
don't know.
would have saved Lou for Armageddon. I think that would have been better.
Sure, I agree.
But I actually like him as a zombie and a ghost, but I do agree that the very next one was too soon.
Right. So that's kind of where I'm at. I just didn't like a lot of the new characters they introduced in Deception. I did like Hotaru, but yeah. Anyways, and Havoc, of course. But that's my dislike. Next.
I would say there's really only a couple things that really bother me in this game, but if I had to pick one, I would say it was the fusion of Noob and Smoke together into one selection spot. That is probably the most upset I've ever been at the franchise. I mean, the Lee Mateys and MKX, the fucking Cyber Sub-Zero, nothing will ever compare to how upset I was about Noob Smoke. And yeah, I held on to that grudge for a long time. Now it's whatever. Well, now it's whatever because I have versions of Smoke I can play in MK9. So I have a gameplay competent version of the character, but I didn't always have that. And before Deception, I think I waited, was it 8 years since we had a new version of Smoke? So I was reasonably upset. And back then, I was not a Noob Saibot fan. That is a
Preach.
I just thought, I'm like, he's a henchman. He looks cool, but that's it. I mean, it's not like this guy is Sub-Zero's brother or anything. So I was pissed. I was super fucking pissed. I was like, you took my favorite character and you wrestling teamed him up with a jobber. Like, everyone, what made me so mad is a lot of people loved it. And when you asked them why, it's because they finally did something with that gray scorpion. And it was just infuriating. I'm like, thank God Smoke actually has like a defined fan base now, but he was still pretty niche. He had a lot of fans, but they were more into the secrets, the hidden status more. So yeah, that's my least favorite thing about Deception. That was a fucking trial. That was pain and tribulations for a very long time.
See, I liked Noob and Smoke in theory because I really liked the tagging in and out mechanic. I would rather that Noob and Smoke were separate characters and that the game had a tag mode.
Oh, thank you for saying that. I'm glad you mentioned that because I completely forgot
I might have
about
taken it.
Why
Although I liked Noob and Smoke as a sub boss. That worked for me.
He's
not so
definitely
much
the best candidate
as
for that.
as a selectable character.
I thought it was weird that they were the sub boss because their story doesn't put them there.
No, they're just kind of there. They exist. They're an obstacle in the way the other obstacle.
The sub boss should be like a 5-person tag team of Johnny Cage, Jax, Kung Lao, Kitana, and Sonya Blade.
I've been tight, yeah.
Because they're the actual last fight before Onaga, story-wise.
Well, I was going to throw into that. First of all, yes, I do agree that would be tight because I love Ermac's ending for that reason. But another reason why Noob Smoke was such a punch in the face was because even though I'm okay with it now, one of the biggest reasons I wanted to see Smoke come back is I wanted to know what he'd been doing for like the last 10 years in the series. Where is Smoke?
Yeah, and it turns out the answer to that was he's
a bitch. He's Noob.
He was deactivated. He was just lying in a treasure pile.
Taken as a trophy and then forgotten.
See, this is why I keep saying, like, if I was in charge, when I got to the remake of MK4, I would have put Smoke in that.
Yes.
And then I would have explained that, like, the Smoke you get in 4 is like his Anenra form, and I would say, well, his body is dead right now because it's turned off. You turn off a robot, it's dead. So his soul is, like, free and wandering. And then when you get to Deception, there's this bit in the story where when Noob Saibot took him down to hell, he started malfunctioning and turned into the Smoke body from the robot body. I would blame that on his soul and his body remerging.
Okay, I can get behind that. I think that works. I think anything would have been more satisfying than Smoke being a drone. That's the hardest part for me, because Smoke running in a dungeon for 8 years is fine as long as when he's reactivated, him and Sub-Zero fist bump and fight Onaga. I would have been okay with that. I would have been great, but just having the character revived and have no personality and have no impact in the story. I mean, really, the only reason Noob and Smoke are there are to troll Sub-Zero. That's the only reason they're in the story at all, is to build an army and to troll Kuai Liang. That's all they do.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was really difficult time in my life, so, yeah.
I can absolutely understand that. Because here's the thing, my vote for least favorite, like the thing I hate about Deception, is in the later versions, like GameCube and PSP, the fact that they brought back Goro and Shao Kahn. I felt that it ruined both of those stories.
After the Kung Lao stuff,
especially Goro.
Yeah, that's when things kind of went off the rails a little bit. I found a dead guy and put my clothes on him, then I ran away.
And now I'm bad again for no reason.
That shit was weak.
Like, the coolest thing that ever happened to Goro was him turning good at the end of, like, Kung Lao's MK Gold ending.
And they just spat all over that. Shame.
It's really frustrating.
Was that your least favorite thing about Deception?
Yes.
It's a good one. I think everyone kind of resents what they did with Goro, and I still do. Like, I feel like MK9 is kind of soft in those wounds.
He's still a bad guy. Like, they still haven't like they're still characterizing him as someone who only cares about, like, I don't know, violence.
It's the brute honor code for
they took away the, like, they still have him say the word honor. Like, the Shokan, mostly Shiva, still cares about it in dialogue. But they don't actually characterize them like that, because that was the most interesting thing about the Shokan, was that they were basically, to Mortal Kombat, what the Klingons are in Next Generation. But they're not, like, it's all just words now. He doesn't have any fucking honor.
I don't think the modern developers know what happened in MK Gold Goro's ending. I don't think they're even cognizant of that, which is super unfortunate, because I agree, it's the best part of Goro, in my opinion.
Shed?
Yeah, you know what? I hate the Goro character assassination. I really do. But at least the game kind of gave us an ability to play as the guy, so I guess there is that. You know, he wasn't...
I just feel like in terms of having the gameplay, it should have been Kintaro.
Ugh, you're not going to find me arguing.
Because I can absolutely believe Kintaro as a guy who, like, goes against the rest of the Shokan.
It was an opportunity.
He doesn't have honor.
It was an opportunity. Like, something kind of gives me a feeling that that's maybe what they wanted to do, but someone decided that Kintaro wasn't recognizable enough and Goro was more iconic, so they did that. Anyway, who knows? No, I think the thing that bugs me the most about Deception, we were also around that time really getting into the era of all the hardcore players think Mortal Kombat's a joke and want the Mortal Kombat players to know that they think it's a joke. Like, this is a thing that really began to rear its head after Deadly Alliance came out. So you've got this fighting game which is fun, and it's kind of like a soft Tekken, and everyone and their mother has an infinite, and Borai Choke can just puke and walk in a circle and puke and run the timer. And they fix this not by making adjustments to the actual core gameplay. They fix this by adding a breaker. That's not much of a fix. It doesn't.
I agree.
It like, everyone was like, "Is this the best you can manage? This is a band-aid. This is not fixing the problem. This is giving the players to prevent those instant murder death combos, which are still all over the fucking game." So that was it. That was the only thing about Deception that really disappointed me, because this is still in a time where I wanted MK to get good and be taken seriously by everyone.
Get good.
Yep.
Scrub, kid.
I will say, like,
you trash.
Now that the gameplay is fixed, I am glad there are breakers, because I need them. But
I don't object to them as a bad thing. It's just they needed to do more than that.
Yeah, no, I absolutely, like, I felt too back in the day, like, when Deception came out, and there were, like, I was on the message boards just like you. I saw, like, the hardcores being like, MK is not a serious fighting game, like, all that shade being thrown, and, like, they had a point. Like, the gameplay was kind of shit in that era, and the breakers were not helpful.
Yeah, it was problematic. Although back then, my response to them was always, you know, go play Third Strike and leave us alone. I do not play Mortal Kombat for the gameplay. I do not care. So
yeah.
That was always my response, and I mean, obviously, I've had somewhat a change of heart, but even back then, I still give credit to myself, because what they were asking for was never in the cards, ever. Midway was never going to have the resources to make a balance. I mean, even if they did have the resources, no one knew how to balance a fighting game yet in 2004. Like, that wasn't a thing yet. Like, balance is just, like, the know-how and the resources were just not there yet, no matter how much money you had. So
Yeah, the thing is, like, fighting games before online patches, you know?
Exactly. I mean, they had 3 chances to make Third Strike balance. They got as close as they could, but that game still has a lot of problems with Chun-Li, with Yoon. It's... Ugh.
Yeah.
Right. Well, let's roll on here to Armageddon. I will go first.
Oh God!
Most favorite thing about Armageddon
Jesus
is that every character in the series was included. That's it. That's all I gotta say. Next.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well, I mean, I'm kind of there too, but I would shorten it to just Serena's playable. Like, that's my favorite thing, seriously, about Armageddon. Playable Serena. Surprising nobody.
I gotta.
Anybody else?
I need to. I can't.
Anybody at all?
I wrote mine down, so I'm ready.
What the hell is with the constant clicking? I want answers right now.
I gotta drink this wine right now.
Temp, what do you got?
The tower stage. The tower had never looked better than it did in Armageddon. It was so awesome. The staircase was tight. I love the stage finisher where you just kind of fall into oblivion.
Yeah, that was kind of cool.
Badass.
Yeah.
All the reds and the blues, all the colors look so good in Armageddon, but I want to say the tower stage.
You know what? Real answer. Soundtrack. The Armageddon soundtrack was a very good thing, and anyone who doesn't think the Lumber Mill is one of the best tracks that Dan Forden and his boys ever came up with is on crack. I listened to Armageddon's soundtrack way more than I ever played that game. There is some really crazy stuff going on in the Bell Tower soundtrack. Out of all games to like have an overlooked soundtrack of the MK series, Armageddon's probably my number 1 for that. The game sounded very good.
I will say, like, I do really like the music in both. I like some of the tracks in Deception too, but yeah, Armageddon has some great tunes.
They really stepped up their game. I feel that Dan kind of came out guns blazing and his boys. That's about the only positive thing I can really say about that game.
Boom.
Oh, and I guess apart from that,
done.
the character creator, that was good too. And yes,
all right. Well, let's roll on to the things that suck about this damn game. I'll go first.
Meteor Storm Stage did have good music. Thank you, Snake Eyes.
I will go first here and say that Creative Fatality was extremely lame.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna rip out their brain, now tear off their arm, now rip out, this, and then that, and then this, and then that, and like, it's not cinematic, there's nothing, it's just I'm continually pressing buttons, and it doesn't even look good.
It kind of ruins the whole appeal of having everybody back when they didn't get fatalities, because, like, fatalities are a characterizing tool, like,
sure.
How Kai would kill a guy tells you something about Kai.
Hey,
but create a fatality, I don't know any more about Kai than I did in MK4.
You want to hear my Christopher Lambert impression? Exactly.
I like.
That's okay. You can always learn more about the characters through their endings, at least. Who's next?
Oh, fuck that. Fuck.
Oh, okay. I didn't mean to touch a sore spot. Their bios, at least. Their bios.
The 25 or so out of 64 that got him.
Oh, geez, another sore spot.
It's not enough that, like, you're dealing with a game whose roster has just basically inflated to something. What was it? Like 40, 50 people?
It was 50 something.
It's 64. 64 is the roster of Armageddon.
64. And remember,
the roster of Deception is like 30, 28.
and this is going after a game that, again, increased the amount of characters from the first one in this little trilogy, where there was already a lot of overlap between basic maneuvers, between fighting styles. This is a game where now we have to trim things down and give everyone one fighting style and one weapon fighting style. You're further homogenizing the entirety of the cast by giving them these quote-unquote fighting styles that really, the most you could say that, if you're actually counting basic moves, there's maybe 3 fighting styles. Everyone in Armageddon plays almost identically. The only thing worth of note in the gameplay is the fact that they introduced air combos. That was it. And that does nothing for how utterly samey all the characters feel, without exception.
And air combos are kind of silly.
Yeah.
Like, it's obviously
noteworthy,
they were
but they're
inspired by, like, the floaty powers everybody got in Shaolin Monks.
Yep.
But floaty powers don't make sense. And one of the things that drives me crazy is that we see Kung Lao and Baraka use the floaty powers in the opening cutscene. Like, it's canon that they can do that. Fuck you. No, it's not. I refuse, sir. Kung Lao cannot float.
Yeah, honestly, that intro video would have been maybe a high point of the game. But anyways, who else has got bad things? What's your least favorite thing about the game?
My least favorite thing is the fucking endings. Because none of them make sense. None of them fulfill the promise that this game came out with, that it would bring closure to the story and to the characters' personal, like, B-plots. And now you have to deal with, like, people on message boards going, Tanya has something to do with dragons, I guess, because in her Armageddon ending, she learned how to control dragons with her mind. And I'm like, tell me what this character has to do with fucking dragons. Come on. Bullshit.
All right.
I guess she's just that much of a bitch as she relates to dragons. I don't know if there's a better explanation than that.
No, it's like she doesn't even, like... She doesn't even have, like, a tattoo of a dragon, or wear a dragon on her clothes, or she has nothing to do with dragons. It's so stupid.
Temp, what do you got?
I guess the biggest problem with Armageddon is Soul Calibur 3. It's just, there was no play life for the game. The game came out, and I don't know, maybe 3 weeks it was relevant. And Soul Calibur like consumed it and took it over and possessed its body and made it do things. Like, that was really the whole part. And Soul Calibur came out first. Like, Soul Calibur was out like a year before, and it didn't even matter because
Soul Calibur 3 and MK Armageddon were both the first game in each series to have a character creator. But Soul Calibur's was fucking better.
Way better. And I don't even like character creators. I thought Soul Calibur's was way, way better. And just, I don't know, like, I was in college when Armageddon, Deception, and Soul Calibur 3 came out, and Soul Calibur 3 was definitely king of the hill back then. And I remember before Soul Calibur, I would play Deception, like, in the main room of my dormitory, and, like, people would fucking come out and look at the game where they'd, like, they'd put their quarter down, metaphorically speaking, and, play next. When Armageddon came out, people didn't even know it was a new game. Like, oh, sick, Deception, I love this game. Like, that's...
Yeah, right?
That's a thing, so, yeah.
Like, I was playing a lot of Deception, Armageddon, and Soul Calibur 3 all around that time, too. And I was also, like, I was in college for the first time then. I was in art school. And actually, the fighting game everybody else was playing was whichever Dragon Ball Budokai game was out at the time.
Oh, I forgot about
that. There's still like this really crazy heavy following for Budokai 3. It is like the one out of that entire time that is looked back on fondly as just not just a good Dragon Ball game, it was a good fighting game. Surprised everyone.
Shad?
Yo.
Did you go?
I think I went. The thing I hate the most about Armageddon?
Yeah.
How about fucking everything? Because fuck that game.
Alright.
You know what? I would actually like to slightly modify my answer.
Yeah, it's too late.
It's not just the endings. It's the fact that the game is an ending. Like, the worst part of Armageddon is that it led to MK9. They fucking had to reboot because they created this fucking end of the story.
Well, they constantly painted themselves in a corner by trying to offer a bigger and bigger threat rather than a different type of threat. Rather than do different,
no, you can keep going. Like, and my whole argument is, like, who says Armageddon had to be the end? Like, you can totally just resolve it and move on. You can do a sequel to Armageddon.
No, you can't.
Yeah, you can.
No, you can't. Nuh-uh. You can't triple stamp a double stamp.
Actually, yeah. In the chat, Snake Eyes just brought up the fact that like Kitana's MKX ending is totally a sequel to Armageddon. It proves that that wasn't an ending.
Nothing's ever an ending until
like
it is.
there's totally a version of the story where like, first of all, Shao Kahn didn't need to beat Blaze. Like I will suggest to you a very simple answer for how to solve the whole Armageddon problem.
Another time. All right, thank you.
No, it's very quick.
Okay,
it's just,
go for it.
Look, Taven and Dagon kill Blaze at the same time, so they each only get half the power. As a result, there is none left to give to everybody else. Nobody gets a boost or dies or loses their powers. Everything goes back to normal.
I like that. I like that not just because it's clever, but it's anime as fuck. I'm in. I like it. Sign me up.
For that same reason, I'm out. All right, let's move on. We got next up Mortal Kombat versus DC, everyone's favorite of the Mortal Kombat series,
God.
I'm sure.
Don't. I can't fill the wine glass up anymore. Stop.
Hey, man,
All right.
if we're going to do MK Gold, we're going to do MK versus DC.
Here we go.
No, you know what? I'm in for this.
Here we go. My favorite thing, I'll start here. My favorite thing is that it was two awesome franchises coming together. Yes, I know most people wanted just pure MK, and they just want to see a continuation from Armageddon, and we were kind of left just hanging. I get that. I totally understand. But with Marvel vs. Capcom's popularity and the success of that, and Marvel, combined with Street Fighter, it just made sense. Like, it's never something I would have imagined. I know when the game was announced, I was like everyone else. I didn't like the idea of it. But then I set that aside and I thought to myself, this is two of my favorite things that I never thought would have come together. In what world did anybody even think that there was a possibility of Mortal Kombat mixing it up with DC characters, DC heroes and villains? To me, that just never would have thunk it. If you would have told me that at some point years prior, I would have been like, you're crazy. There's just no way they would do that. There's no way Warner Brothers would want DC to, mix it up with Mortal Kombat. It just didn't, I couldn't fathom it. And eventually that's why I liked it, is because it was two of my favorite things brought together. And no, it's not like ice cream and pizza. It's just, it was what it was. I wouldn't want it all the time. If they did like an Injustice Mortal Kombat mashup in the future, I wouldn't necessarily hate it, now that they've polished both series tremendously. But for what it was, I liked it for the dream match and the crossover, the versus type of game. I thought if you're gonna do it, might as well have two franchises I actually like. So that's why I like it. Anyways. Next.
I'll go. So like when it was announced, there were so many people who were just like, Mortal Kombat isn't, like, superheroes are childish and Mortal Kombat is fucking edgy. They shouldn't go together. And I'm like, the fuck are you talking about? MK is totally a superhero universe.
Sure.
It is exactly identical. Like, in MK3, everybody was wearing colorful fucking spandex.
It's
Great.
true.
And also, like, if the fucking Street Fighter guys can fit in with Marvel characters, why not?
I think it's easier to bring Mortal Kombat characters and DC
Yeah,
characters.
it is, because both
Street Fighter
both
and
DC and Mortal Kombat deal with portals to other Earths all the time. Like, they're all about having a multiverse. Like,
yeah.
Interdimensional travel isn't that common in Marvel, and it has nothing to do with Street Fighter.
Yeah.
Which is why there really is no story in the Marvel vs. Capcom games that explains why they cross over.
Yeah.
Well, sort of in the new one there is.
It's sort of in the new one. It's not like it's like in Media Race, like they've all met already. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. The whole story is Cyclops and Ryu shook hands and then beam supers. That's the lore, but I'm okay with that.
That's all I need.
Well, they hinted in two. They hinted in two that like Ruby Heart her pirate ship is an interdimensional pirate ship, so she's the reason they're meeting somehow, maybe?
Which is tight. I like Ruby Heart a lot.
Yeah, but, like, do that. Like, actually write it out. Make it a story, and not just, like, a screenshot in the ending credits.
All aboard the good ship Berserker Barrage.
But, like...
Stop Thailand.
So I was never, like, angry at the concept like so many people were. But, like, so my favorite thing about it, actually, though, is it made special moves important to the gameplay again.
Yeah.
The fucking fake Tekken engine that they were using in the 3D era had to go. Yeah. So, like, not only, like, look at what it does for Jax. Like, he has all his classic moves back. He's Jax again.
I mean, I'd be able to relate if I ever played Jax or owned MKvsDC, but I'll take your word for it.
I mean, it's, as someone who doesn't dislike Jax,
I like Jax now.
It's important to have the real Jax back. Trust me on that.
The gameplay.
No, I'm a big Jax fan now.
The gameplay was a huge step in the right direction. I mean, that was the one takeaway I strongly remembered during, like, when it was released.
Oh yeah.
I remember so many media outlets were like, okay, this gameplay actually feels good, you know, like that was their high praise of it.
It wasn't just that specials were back, it's that, like, characters had more specials than they ever did. Like, Raiden was getting new moves, and Liu Kang was getting new moves. Like, there used to be this thing where, like, everybody could have, like, maybe 4 special moves tops, and now people have, like, 6 to 8 or something. And then
there were, like, variations, too, for
the like...
time. This is where you have, like...
Versus DC introduced the enhanced special.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, like, good for not just the gameplay, but for, like, the lore.
And combo trials.
And that's, like, you know...
Combo trials.
Good, man.
Man, all the hate those combo trials got.
Oh, God, I hated those things so much.
They were terrible. One of Raiden's was glitched, but I'm actually kind of thankful for them because, like... That game gave me my first platinum trophy where I was like, man, I earned this shit.
I could never
I put up with Superman Ground Pound Infinites Online to get that fucking platinum trophy.
There was like 4 people's I just could not do. I did everybody else's from start to finish.
I couldn't do any of them. I couldn't get past, like, the 4th or 5th in any pile.
Joker's, I remember being, like, his last one, for whatever reason, the timing on it was just ridiculous. I never could finish that last one. I don't know what the hell. It ended with the, like...
disappointed when, like, they never brought them back for MK9 or X. I want combo trials. I enjoy doing them.
I would enjoy them more now because I actually can do them.
Instead.
But, yeah. I can do them now. They were my first kind of... Other than maybe like Conquest and Deadly Alliance, but they were my first forte of actually getting those types of combos down.
The combo trials are basically like Star Labs in Injustice 1 is basically like the return of combo trials. And honestly, fuck Star Labs. It cannot compare to the Clown Tower.
Agreed.
All right, so Shad, Temp, what do you got? Either one?
It was totally the gameplay. That was the only thing I can remember actually having a lot of fun. Just combos felt fun to do, and it was nice. It was a very playable game, which I actually got about a good 2 months out of before I put it away forever.
Yeah, definitely agreed on that. I was trying to decide between the gameplay, like the step in the right direction of the 2.5D gameplay as they marketed it, or the overall idea of having 2 franchises I really like come together. But anyways, Temp, what do you got?
Nothing new to say. Gameplay improvements for the most part. Going the direction of custom combos kind of all started with MKvsDC. MK9 as a whole owes a lot to MKvsDC. That really kind of set the groundwork for making MK9 as good as it was. There was a lot of good learning experiences for that game. So
sure,
we kind of owe a debt to it in that sense. But just gameplay improvements.
Not just that, but I mean, I've always maintained this, had they not done that crossover with WB and established that relationship, it could have been like EA that bought Mortal Kombat. I would have been, if EA owned,
unclean now.
if EA owned Mortal Kombat, I swear we would be, I feel like, way worse off.
Somewhere there is a reality where I put a gun in my mouth a long time ago. I'm just realizing that now.
Like, as much, to be honest though, as much flack as we give WB at times, like, there could be way, way worse scenarios where that could have ended up. Like, WB, as bad as they can be in certain aspects, they can be really great about other things. I mean, they've definitely put the budget and the money and all of that. They've really made the game feel like they've given it a platform to seem like an actual AAA title. They have not just rushed it out for a cash grab like Midway did, and they're not EA, so they're not like just shoving loot crates down your throat. Dear God, yeah, it could be, or putting out a new version of Mortal Kombat every single year that's like the exact same thing, add one little thing and charging you full price again. So yes, it could have been way, way worse off. So yeah, for that I'm thankful. Anyways, plus now we got Injustice, so there's that. So let's move on to least favorite, and I do want to acknowledge what Snake Eyes and Kolbs were talking about, and that yes, it was the first game of theirs, of NetherRealms, to introduce the like cinematic story mode, the chapter system, and all that, for better or worse. Obviously,
it actually did it better than 9RX did, because you get to play as both sides.
Yeah, and that's always cool too.
Yeah.
Like, you can play as the whatever you want to look at as the bad guys equivalent.
Yeah.
Which you cannot do in 9 or X outside of, I guess, Devora's chapter.
Yeah. that was fuck. God. Shit. All right. Let's move on to our least favorite things about the game. I will start first once again. The rage, I mean, speaking of the Marvel vs. Capcom reasoning to bring the story together, man, was the rage just really dumb. I did not like that story element and the plot.
We're all
of the
picturing
rage.
that pose in the background as we do this. Stretching.
Yeah, the hands.
Stretching angry.
By the combat rage.
So yeah, the rage was really stupid. That was very cheesy, and there was no real substance there. It was just a very poor reason to bring it together. So anyways, my least favorite thing about the game.
I'd like to go next if I can.
Go for it.
Go ahead.
Man, when MKDC, whatever it's called, was announced, there was a lot of hate, and I was one of those haters. I was fucking furious when they announced that game. And it had nothing to do with no fatalities. Actually, get rid of fatalities. Fuck them. It had nothing to do with fucking, like, DC. I like DC. I think it mixes fine with Mortal Kombat. It was the fact that they did it right after Armageddon. And they let us down this, they kind of winded up this string, make us think another MK game was coming. And I had to wait through 2 fucking countdowns for them to announce that there wasn't even an MK game coming out. It was a non-canon DC crossover. And after waiting for the mystery of what
countdown to the countdown?
What's up?
Was versus DC? Was that when they did the countdown to the countdown?
Yeah, the meta countdown. I was like,
Wow.
That was such a questionable use of anyone's time. Oh my god, it was... You know when, like, you feel so embarrassed for something that you have to look at it through your fingertips?
Yeah.
That was what I was feeling there.
It was
a card facepalm moment.
A surreal level of anger. Because
countdown to a countdown. That's a paddling.
Gotta announce them announcements.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Please get hype for the time in which you should please get hype.
It's like an amusement park line that leads to the entrance to another amusement park line.
You get on the roller coaster, and the roller coaster only travels like 20 feet, and you have to get out to go to the real line. Like, oh god, just fuck. Yeah. So Armageddon kind of left this very strange taste in everyone's mouth. So everyone wanted to know what was next, and I really thought they were going to tell me. I really thought I was going to find out. And when I found out that whole wait, that tension building, the fucking just the fake outs, that there was no canon MK game going to be announced, I lost my shit, and I've always hated that game ever since. Well, no, not really. Actually, I would have bought it if I didn't work at GameStop. When I worked at GameStop, I got to play it for free, and I played it for 3 days, and I never touched it again and gave it back to the store. But gosh, it's just man, I was upset. That was really tough, and also fucked up the numbering system forever. Like the MK numbering system will never be fixed ever again. So that's what I don't like about
it
MK.
is officially MK8. That's a
These
weird
are the
thing.
things that I'm over.
Man, I'm like looking back at gameplay footage right now. That game got ugly quick.
It does
There was
not
something
hold up.
hideous. There is something hideous about this motherfucker right here.
I feel that way about like Deception too. I don't know. Their 3D modeling back in that time frame was not good.
Well, D-MKvsDC was the same engine as MK9 to the point where like some characters like Kano and Sub-Zero, they literally reused their head.
Yeah,
I like that head. That was a good head.
All right. I just think
everyone enjoys a good head. That's all.
Why
kind of
is
lazy. Like Quan Chi is literally the exact same model they used in the cutscenes and were gonna make a DLC character out of. Like they didn't do anything with him.
Why is Shao Kahn made
His
of
alternate
sausages?
His alternate costume is his primary with a shirt added. Quan Chi must have been like a last-minute addition to MK9 or something. Like, there's no work done on him at all. It's weird.
Maybe
yeah,
that's exactly how we'll be thinking once we see Dr. Otto Octavius.
What the fuck
See
are you
Infinite.
clicking about, Temp? I know it's you this whole time.
Porn.
It is me.
It's like we're talking about MKDC. I'm just gonna tune it out and watch some porn.
Alright. Well,
I mean, that's all I got from KDC. I was really upset, and I'll mute my microphone now.
fair enough. So, my least favorite thing is, there's a lot. I have to narrow it down. I think I'm gonna go with the finishing moves. Like,
Yep. That's
the whole
you and me both, buddy.
And, like, it doesn't bother me that much, but it's clearly, like, affects the reputation of the thing, you know? Because it's all people think about is, oh, that time they made a T-rated MK game and all the finishers were stupid. And, like...
There's a couple of ones that I thought were still cool.
There's a few
They
of
tried
them.
with a few. Like, I thought it was cute that they let Liu Kang do the arcade drop again, and some of that sort
I
of
think
stuff.
that's the one
but,
I
like,
used all the time, too.
I was like,
Kano-
I remember that. That's cute.
Kano literally just somersaults on the guy. It doesn't even look like it kills him.
It was a special move. It was.
Yeah, he sort of grabs them and does his cannonball, except like really poorly animated,
Well,
and
here's
it
the
just
problem.
kind of slams them on the ground.
Here's
like
the
there's
problem.
no.
The
Kano's
problem.
kind of like the crown prince of having anticlimactic or really bizarre moves, isn't he?
Yeah, and
Here's-
in fact, I feel like they're still moving after he steps off them, like they're not actually dead. But that one wasn't a heroic brutality; it was called a fatality.
Well, the
So
problem
why
is
is he not dead?
the problem is that
the
when
name.
you can do fatalities and heroic brutalities with a teen rating and have them be really good. You just have to be very creative. You have to have better creativity. My problem with fatalities oftentimes is there is no creativity. It's just, oh, let me tear off their head, then their arms afterwards. Like, that's not a good fatality. There's several instances where a fatality is just your typical slice their head off, stab them in the chest, do this, do that. You're fine, a million ways to die. So, I mean, we've seen the same kind of stuff. I mean, MK9, how many times do we see somebody get dismembered or cut in half? So, I mean, they have a creativity problem with it. And I think that's the underlying issue with D-MKvsDC is because their creativity issue compounded with the fact that they couldn't just rely on gore meant they were doubly screwed.
Taught us all a lesson about how much we value blood in our MK games now, doesn't it?
They couldn't shock you, and without the shock value, it literally was just showing through the cracks of the, poor creativity.
I think that we still could have gotten away with it if it weren't for the fact that
Those damn kids and their
like
stupid
it
dogs.
was like you couldn't take more than 3 minutes to think of a better name for what you're doing than heroic brutalities. We're heroes, so we can't do fatalities we could tone down brutalities because that's just beatings, and no, it was like the work of a single day's meeting.
I think it would have been way cooler if like the heroes like threw him in jail or had some fun little cinematic like that.
Honestly, this is what I would have done. I would have been like, okay, you don't have to say finish him or her. You say finish it, and you call it a finishing move bonus. That doesn't necessarily imply death. It's the last hit of the round. Fine, whatever. We know what you're going for. We'll deal with it. Better than heroic brutalities.
Or have the have the heroes do friendships. That would have been cool.
That would have been something. I would have rather had no finishing moves at all, rather than stupid-looking ones. Like, it's like if you went back to MK3 and you took out all the good ones and you just left Jack Giant and Cabal scares you with his mask off. I'd be like, fuck that game.
Didn't Raiden have one where like he turns you into a skeleton with lightning?
Yeah, like he grabs you by the throat or something, and a giant bolt comes down from the sky, and your skin's immediately flashed gone. You're just a skeleton. And I was okay with it. Like
shades of his MK1 in there, actually. I didn't mind that one. I just remember like that one alone sticking out to me from all the rest.
Yeah, I thought that one was a good one.
Yeah, it's like it was okay. It was a little blandly animated, I would say. Little bit janky looking, but it's still they tried.
Yeah, I think there's one solution you could do is give fatalities to the DC heroes and just call them, "Oh my God, what have I done?" And then you're finished. Close the book.
Well,
or at least have the heroes that kill. I mean, not all those heroes.
DC isn't going to stop you if you have Superman snap a guy's neck so hard it makes a shockwave.
Indeed, indeed.
And Batman can like murder like 30 people in a single night with the Batmobile, and it's apparently okay.
Oh, but the times are changing.
A lot of the other heroes do kill in canon, so why couldn't they have had fatalities? Like, I have seen the Flash kill Professor Zoom, like, a couple times. I have seen Green Lantern kill a guy.
Guess I'm taking those Flash and Green Lantern comics back.
I just went back to, like, watch Shang Tsung's in this thing. I forgot that the guy basically does, like, Kariyuki Tagawa's opening, like, move on Lou's brother in the MK film. He just steps on their spine and takes their soul.
I mean,
that's kind of nice in retrospect.
Snake Eyes brings up a fair point. He says, now you look at Injustice and see the supers they gave Raiden, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, and wonder what could have been in MK vs. DC. Let's think about the fact that with MK vs. DC, there was... I have to imagine DC and Warner Brothers were a lot more cautious and hand-holding and untrusting at that point with the development team, whereas now they've earned their trust and respect with these characters. So I bet a lot of that has to play into that aspect. And Temp, you are echoing too. What world am I living in right now?
Echo world. World of Echoes.
That makes sense.
Anyway, is that everybody? Did we finish MK versus DC?
Yeah, let's move on.
Well, actually, do we want to kind of make a stopping point here and take questions? Because I feel like MK9 and 10 need to be paired. So do y'all want to do those next episode, or how do you want to do this?
It's up to you.
The trilogy of game opinions that became a sextuple.
Do you think we can get through those and still hit the other stuff?
I feel like MK9 by itself is going to take quite a bit of time. I have a lot to say about MK9.
Because I think I think two of the four of us at least know what we hate most about MK9.
Well, here's the deal. Yeah. I got about 45 minutes left on the table. What do you think we can get in that time?
I say wait, but it's up to you guys.
I feel like it would be like thematically appropriate to wait and do like the last episode of the year or the first episode of next year as the finisher.
Looking back on the recent games.
Whatever the schedule allows for us to record.
Well, I can deal with that too because I'm also kind of tired.
Let's stop it there then, and then we will.
There are quite a bit of questions in the question chat, I think.
Yeah.
Do we want to say anything quickly about special forces or mythologies while we're here?
No. Let's move on.
Okay.
That's probably another day where we could touch upon those. Anyways, so we'll start at the top here. We'll start at the top. We got a little bit of a backlog going on. Got some questions in here. So the very first question we have is, and for those wanting to come on and talk with us, we will have that after the question, so stay tuned. Anyways, questions. Kolbs from Edinia says, do you think any character endings from MKX will carry over as canon into MK11? And if yes, whose would you pick? What do you got?
I'll say katanas. Hopefully katanas.
I think the most likely is katanas because it ties into Jades and 9. It feels like something, because it's in more than one game, that it actually might go somewhere. And I've said a few times that I want it to. Like, I want that dream lady or whoever she is that possesses Jade to be a thing.
They have been building up to Jade being kind of important to the future of the franchise for 2 straight games now. And to not follow up on that at this point, I think, would be kind of a major downer. I'd rather see that happen than Son of Kano or whatever the fuck.
I really hope Kano doesn't really have a son. I am so sick of kids.
I do not want to see Sub-Zero playing Daenerys Teargarden with dragons. Thank you very much.
God damn it. How was the one I had my fingers crossed really happened?
You have no such thing.
If Sub-Zero rode dragons, this changes everything.
I would like for the ones about Raiden and Kotal having a Mortal Kombat tournament to come true. But all of them, like, because those endings go all the way to the end and say Bo Raicho wins that tournament. So, like, we don't need to have a game about that tournament. It's already over.
Did Triborg, like, basically start the Tekken in his ending? Was that the thing?
Tekkunin or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah, Triborg starts the Tekkunin.
I'll take that, too.
Fuck that.
Let's the Tekkunin come back.
No. We want...
I like that Tekkunin.
I want real resolution for Cyrax and Sector.
I also like the Tekkunin.
No, I'm fine with them coming. I would just rather Sector be the one that started and not, like...
Well, I don't want
Triborg to be the thing.
So Triborg builds Sector a new body because he stole his head, so he can fucking repair him.
Here's how we fix this. Now downloading Sector Initiative Pro. Beep beep. Identity confirmed. I am now Sector. Beep. And we're good.
As long as we get some damn resolution with Cyrax and stuff, then I'm fine. But
he blew himself up. That's a pretty good resolution. That guy's
has
dead.
not happened. First of all, it happened in the comics, so that doesn't even matter. Second of all,
it's probably canon.
The comic writer even said, "Oh, you didn't see a body." Like, he completely alluded to the fact that it. I don't know. That's just if that was the way he went out.
I'll believe he's not dead when I see it.
I'm gonna shit all over that because that is a poor way for a character to go out. I'm all for like
I'm
all for heroic suicides like that or kamikazes, but that was so unnecessary. He could have just been like, "Hey,
it was shitty to kill off Cyrax." But I believe it happened.
No, it's fine to kill him off. It's not fine to do it in that way of like, hey, I'm going to kill myself for no reason at all when I could just...
Because he did it as a fatality in MK3 lol.
Yeah.
That was the only reason.
He should have basically said, hey, all of you cyborgs, we can use you in the new Lin Kuei, but we're going to fight for good, and I will be your commander, or Sub-Zero will be your commander, or... He could have just led them all into a trap and killed them all as like a mercy kill, and then him and Sub-Zero prance around, and now they're good.
Here's the thing: we are aware that a universe happened where Cyrax was able to cope with being a cyborg when he got his mind back. But this is not that universe. He committed suicide because he really didn't want to be a robot.
Or he didn't want to be in this universe.
I want it to be revealed in some way, shape, or form. His MK9 ending happened somehow, and somewhere he's off in a field of cherry blossoms doing Zen meditation, and he's all like, my spirit is caged, but my soul is free, or some shit.
I kind of hated that, because
I don't know.
MK9, both bio and ending, and dialogue and story mode, was trying to push this idea that Cyrax is a spiritual guy, and that he cares about his chi.
I'm okay with that.
I do not believe that coming from a character who has no special moves and uses technology.
I'm okay with that, because I always saw it... I always thought there being a correlation, at least back in the old days, as being this. The strength of the cybernetic process is kind of proportionate to the strength of the soul. The more of an independent soul you have, the less you want to be this, the more you want to be yourself. The more human you
here's-
are, the less this works. And so that's why that's why. Hang on.
Okay.
This is why, in order, you get right away notions in MK3, the same game where he breaks through, the same game where like the whole cyborg thing happens. You get Smoke kind of displaying evidence in game 1 that he's still got his soul. Cyrax gets his kind of given back to him, and Sector never happens because he's not interested in having it happen.
Yes,
I was
agree.
okay with like Cyrax kind of being that middle ground.
I agree, and that's
So
where
there-
I like
there
him
we go.
most. I like him most because of that reason of that he is the cyborg that gets
I don't see
himself
becoming
back.
a Robo Monk as the middle ground. I see it as stealing Smoke's spot on the far end.
Smoke's not even in that spot anymore, though.
I wouldn't.
That's my problem.
Look, that's that's
mind
done.
just
All right, this comic thing doesn't have to be done. All right,
It's
one
too
actually
late. It's
happened in the
out.
games, one did not. So I don't know. I just give me a resolution that doesn't absolutely suck. I'm not.
All right,
I wouldn't
all
be
right.
upset
I mean,
if
I'm
he
not gonna
dies.
I'm not gonna call foul if Cyrax is an MK11 and it turns out he didn't blow up.
Good, because
I think that
the comic it doesn't matter.
well, the people who made the comic just think that Mortal Kombat fans are just idiots who like fatalities. They don't realize, at least the people behind the comic project did not realize that there is a real passion for the lore.
I feel like the
They
writers
thought we
of the
just wanted
game
to see Stu
feel
Hao
the same
die.
way, though.
Yeah, so
they all think we're just idiots that just want to see fatalities and don't care about the
Yeah.
story.
And I'm sure that there's a big portion out there, but like they're not the assholes who buy comics. Like those people probably don't know there's more than 9 games or 8 or 7. Like a lot of my friends don't even know that Deadly Alliance and Deception were a thing. They don't know they existed. So I don't know.
All right. Well, that pretty much covers the question, though. At least we kind of explored some of those endings. Snake Eyes asked, what are your thoughts on Capcom building their own interconnected universe with a bunch of the franchises now meeting in Street Fighter? First it was Rival Schools in Final Fight, but now it's also the Strider franchise with Zeku. Does Darkstalkers take place on the same streets, only at nighttime with a secret war going on that the World Warriors aren't aware of? One can only hope we get a nightclub stage with Felicia, singing on stage and Morgan sitting in the crowd.
I'll fill part of this one. Darkstalkers and Street Fighter take place in roughly the same time frame. Felicia directly mentions Blanca in her Darkstalkers and Darkstalkers 2 ending. They are roughly analogous in time. I don't know what the overlap is, but despite the fact that a lot of Darkstalkers has like 18th century imagery, a lot of it, like, you know, it unquestionably takes place in a modern time frame. Just look at Felicia's stage; it's full of neon lights and signs and whatnot. The Tower of Arrogance is on the side of a building. You can see cars down below. Darkstalkers is at the same time as whatever Street Fighter is in the 90s. So there was that. As for it being a shared universe, I am happy to purchase that pieces of that shared universe for $15.99 a piece. Fuck you, Capcom. Nah, I'm just Josh Tron. I'm looking forward to the collection next year. And hopefully revitalizing Street Fighter V will have the desired effect. And Mega Man 11. I can't say that they're not trying. We'll see.
They're so hit and miss, but yeah.
Yeah, go on.
I really like the that they're adding more things to the Street Fighter universe. I like that Strider is becoming a part of it. My biggest hope is that we get to see something Captain Commando related in a future game, because it's already sort of the canon future of Final Fight. So, and we're coming upon whatever year Captain Commando is set in, like 2020 something. So, like, I want that. Because it's been a long time since we've seen anything with Captain Commando in it.
I love Captain Commando, like, a lot. I agree with everything you said about Captain Commando. This is just surreal, by the way, because I actually just answered this on the Warrior Shrine, which is in the can, or will be soon. But I like it with Captain Commando. I do not like it with Strider, because Strider already has an identity problem. Right now, Strider Hiru is the guy from Marvel vs. Capcom. His franchise is so already, like, unsung. So I feel like rooting him in Street Fighter V was not the way to go.
They
Yeah.
They just had a new Strider game that was really good, though, like a year or two ago.
But no one played it. Like,
Yeah,
I own it. I bought it on Black
you're not
Friday.
going to solve that by not putting him in more stuff.
I think a better solution would have been to make a new game, a new Strider with all that DLC costume money. All those Chun-Li costumes, make a new Strider game with the money. Like, that's what I'm saying. But they're like 16 Chun-Li costumes. It's crazy. But I don't think...
I don't know, like, business-wise, if you just made a new Strider game and nobody bought it, making another new Strider game, I don't know if that gets you there.
Did anyone buy Street Fighter
I'm just
5,
replacing Strider with Darkstalkers every time you say Strider in my head, and I'm just getting all sadder and sadder and sadder.
Here's what I would say, is that I wish Strider's primary costume in Infinite had the laser scarf. I think that would promote the game he just had better.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think that actually is a really good point. Visually, Strider is so good, which is why I don't want Street Fighter V to rub its ugly taint on Strider. I like that game, and is Strider's lore more interesting knowing that Guy's a part of it? I don't think it is. I think Guy and Cody are a cool thing. I think Zeku is just kind of fluff on top of Guy and Cody. It just feels awkward and ugly to me.
I don't know. I kind of like, because it's like, so the idea is that Zeku is a guy from Guy's clan who decides to leave it and start his own clan, and that clan becomes the Striders. It's sort of like if we were getting a Mortal Kombat game set in the Great Kung Lao era, where we actually got to see that original Takeda guy defect from the Lin Kuei and create the Shirai Ryu.
I can see that, but I don't think we're going to get anything like that with Street Fighter V. I think they're like, hey, Zeku's a Strider, and then they're done. Now all you have is just the gross smell of Street Fighter V on Strider, which Strider was doing its own thing perfectly fine, in my opinion.
See, I don't hate Street Fighter V the way you do.
I actually love, to be clear, I think the AE trailer was tight. I hope the rumors, I actually do have some faith there might be some credence to the Q rumors about the free Oro Q, all that jazz.
God,
how I hope. If people would play Street Fighter V with me, I'd be all over it. It does have problems. I just think aesthetically the game's kind of gross.
I would join you once the arcade edition is out, Tim. I will be picking it up again. I give it a nice long break after I did everything worth collecting fight money for, and I just kind of got bored because I have no reason to go back. But if they're serious about like there being so many fucking different arcade paths to do and stuff for every incarnation of the game's timeline that they put in there, then I'll have a nice huge chunk of single player content to keep me happy. And yeah, I'll happily hop on with you.
I will see you there then. And also Shadowloo.
My world is already rocked. Vega is still not a charged character. I'm questioning the meaning of life. I don't understand.
It is sort of a weird space and time thing. I don't know how Block is going to work without the charge shit either, but...
Oh my god, the answer is painful.
Or without tapping. Oh my god, not having to like mash bullshit with Block.
No, you know what? Like, Bison's still mostly a charge character. They can't make Blanca not a charge character. That's opening Pandora's fucking box. They can't.
Well, Blanca's already so fucking dumb. You gotta make something he does hard to do, so yeah, I hope he's at least moderately... They always say, if you don't hate Blanca, you play Blanca, but I actually look forward to Blanca coming back, and...
As a kid, Blanca was my main until I learned to play Vega.
Yeah, that's the thing. When you're like 10 years old, Blanca looks cool, but as the older you get, the more you realize that, why does this guy exist? Like, his backstory is he rubbed plants on himself until his body turned green?
And he learned how to shock people from electric eels. Razor, I challenge you to survive a plane crash in the jungles of Brazil as a child and do better. Blanca is a hero and an inspiration to us all.
How did he grow fangs? Like, there are so many questions.
All right, let's fucking move on. God damn it, we're gonna get through these questions.
How did that anklet stay the same size for 20 years?
Why did he wear anklets? Like,
Colbs from Adinia asks, do you think MK11 should introduce any new characters, or do you think MKX did enough new and they should pull from the existing roster?
Depends what kind of game it is.
I would say very little new. I'm fine with, like, let's say
3.
Yeah, I was going to say 2 to 4 new. 4 is the absolute max I'd want to go to. And I think 2 is like a healthy minimum. Give us something new, but yeah, 2 to 4.
There's kind of like that shadow of it being the closing chapter in a trilogy hanging over its head, isn't there? That's how we tend to look at these things. Like, the one that closes the generation traditionally has the shit ton of fighters, and like we expect that to be a greatest hits roster. I don't know if we can expect that this time, considering the fact that our first one in this current trilogy of games, if you want to divide these things into trilogies, which you can't really do in MK4, but anyhow, like, we've already had our in the form of MK9. That's what it was. So I would say, yeah, 5 new people. I could see that.
No, I think we said 2
like
to 4.
5 is a little much. Like,
yeah.
The thing is, when I think about where would a new character fit in what I want the story to be, there's only really 2 spots. There's making Jade's Dream Lady an actual character. She would technically count as new, even though we've seen her before, because we don't know her name or anything. And then there's the Red Dragon clan. That's pretty much it.
My question is, if we bring back 5, which of the returning new characters come back? Like, there's 8 new characters in the last game. We're going to bring 5 new ones back. How many do we have to cut from MKX? I mean, this is one of the reasons why I'm not crazy about new characters. So if we bring 5 in the new one and we save, let's say, I imagine at least 4 are coming back at the new roster in the last game. I think that seems likely. God, that's like more than a third of the roster. That's a lot of characters.
If you don't bring Ferrator back, I fucking riot. I'll just say it right now.
Unfortunately, I think Ferrator is probably top of the chopping block.
Yeah.
No, fuck you.
It's
I
a shame.
refuse to believe it. I know. I don't know. If Ed can be so gonzo about the concepts he loves that he brings back Jax again and again and again and again and again, despite him not having a fan base, with how enthusiastic he was about Ferrator,
I'm Jax's fan base.
You don't mean that.
We're in a minority, man. You like Jax. I don't mind Jax. The dude does not have the following other people, and it's a very unfortunate
true.
thing. But that's not going to stop him from being in every single fucking game.
We all make mistakes.
I'd get rid of Sonya way before I'd not bring
Here's the deal. Here's the deal.
Let me dream. I know it's not going to happen, but just...
We need to have 2 to 4 new, no more, 2 to 4 new, and then you bring back 4 or 5 of the new. Let's just say, let's cut it this way. Let's do 3 new, bring back 4 to 5 of the, new characters in the last one. So that brings us up to 8. We'll say we'll give them the benefit of the doubt. We'll say 8. Then that would be technically just shy of a fourth of the roster on those. And then that leaves so much room for returning characters, but we have to have the caveat of there needs to be a significant amount of MK1 and MK2 characters that do not get included in this game this time. The Jaxes of the world, the Sonyas, the Johnny Cages, Liu Kangs, etc. They need to sit out a game. Melina's probably gone. She is because she's dead, but Baraka probably ain't coming back. So, I mean, we need to have some of them step down because you don't need to have all the damn kids and the parents this time around. That was Family Edition. We need to move on from that.
Special Forces Family Edition, too, which made
Exactly.
Yeah.
So let's move on from that. Let's throw in a few more MK3 characters this time. Let's throw in some more MK4, MK Deadly Alliance, MK Deception, and then you can still sprinkle some MK2, MK1, maybe just hypothetically throw in Katana, throw in Cyrax, whatever, give the fans what they want and they're clamoring for, you can't let those characters sit out. I get it. It's just, yeah.
I know Ferrator ain't coming back in any kind of game where black exists. It's a sad reality, but it's the truth.
Well, I mean, it's almost like they set him up to fail, Shadowloo. It's almost like they knew the moment they created him. The minute I saw him in story mode, I'm thinking this character just doesn't have a future. That I feel like they're setting him up to not come back, and the ending kind of seals it, honestly. But
it's like when you create someone to be a henchman, you have to realize that's a limit. But you'd still need henchmen, so what can you do?
Well, no time like the present to continue my drink.
All right. So we'll go ahead and move on from that question. And next up we got from Crayjax. Okay, this question is specifically for the Part 3 segment of the MK25 Marathon. Well, you're in the right place. If Armageddon was going to get an ultimate remaster, all right, a very low chance scenario, but in the scenario if it were to happen, what would be a better story structure? A two-side perspective where the story switches back and forth between Taven's quest and what the rest of the MK cast is doing between Deception and Armageddon? Or could a three-side perspective work with the first two mentioned along with a flashback story on Taven's and Dagon's origins in order to build more depth to their stories in life in Old Edenia before Khan's invasion? Or should the Armageddon story either be readapted into a written novel or comic media rather than video game?
I'd like to, at this point, share an inspirational quote reframed in the context of the game by one of my favorite directors, and you know him as Iga, the man behind Castlevania. Mortal Kombat Armageddon was a mistake. It's nothing but trash. Throws wine glass.
I think that answers the question. Anybody have anything to add? Or
Well,
I would just say-
I like. So in my own fan fiction-y reimaginings of if I were remaking the games,
Temp, you were saying? No, I'm just kidding.
I have thought about this because I will eventually get to Armageddon. When I do it, it will be like a two-sided story where it'll flash between whatever Taven's doing, which we already played through in the original Armageddon, and what everybody else is doing. I don't
for real. It's
I know that Crayjax is a
I
big
can dig
fan
that.
of Taven and Dagon and really wants to see their backstories.
I am too, by the way.
I don't know that, like, that's too much for all at once. Like, I think maybe do that in something else. Like, they could have like their own comic book or something about their backstories. I feel like that's because I don't know how much conflict you can really, like, we all know theoretically what happened in Old Edenia. Shao Kahn invaded, there was fighting, eventually his side won, he beheaded Jared, married Sindel, Taven and Dagon, before that point, were put in rocks and are thrown to sleep. We already kind of know all that stuff, it would just be showing it, and I don't know that there's enough of it to fill an entire thing.
I'm going to say this right now. I've gone on record in the past as saying that I'm okay with Dagon, and I don't care much for proto-mctagonist, Taven, as I like to call him. I see no fucking reason that if we're going to revisit Edenia's Golden Age, they should have anything more than a backseat mention and a chapter or two in a game that, by all rights, should be focusing on Kitana and her life and people around her.
Yeah, I just think that, like, well, first of all, Kitana was like a baby when Edenia was invaded, so she's not much of a character at that point.
I kind of feel like we should, I don't know, follow her life and times. Maybe start with Sindel for, like, the opening chapter and move along.
Like, if there was a whole, like, book or game or comic or something that was the life story of Kitana, that would be pretty cool, provided it was set in the old timeline where she doesn't die and become a slave over and over again.
Hard times.
But just in terms of, like, the Taven and Dagon part of it, it's like, I don't know how much of a story needs to be like these big epic Lord of the Rings style battle scenes between Shao Kahn's armies and Edenia's armies, where, you know, Taven and Dagon are on the front lines on one side and, like, Reiko is on the front lines on the other side. You can do that, maybe one scene of that, and it would be pretty cool, but it's not a whole story.
All right.
I'll chime in briefly. Just to say that if I were to
It is happening again.
remaster.
It is happening again. Oh god.
I would say if I would remaster Armageddon, there wouldn't be any story mode at all. I would just get rid of all the bios. I would cut the cast down to 30%.
What bios?
And the characters are not in the... What's up?
I just said what bios. I don't know.
Exactly. I would basically cut the cast almost in half between low-tier bonuses who don't factor into the balancing and have a tournament mode where just only maybe 2/3 or half the cast is playable and balance everything within that cast. All the money I would spend on a story mode or on bios or on just all Vogel's budget, just take it away and put it into the engine. That's what I would do if I was going to remaster Armageddon. Because I think gameplay-wise, Armageddon probably has the strongest legacy of all three of those games. Like, literally, the legacy of Deception is just Pick of the Hut and, like, M2 Dave just talking about the good times of all the smoke shit. And before that, the tournament legacy of Deadly Alliance is literally just fucking Tom Brady talking about Deadly Alliance. So that's the one game that actually does kind of have a chance in history to make a comeback. I would keep all the content. I would make it look pretty, but I would make a tournament mode with a reduced roster and better mobility. So that's what I would do.
Being legit here, I would frame the lead up to the pyramid battle a little bit, because the thing that really bothered me about the storyline for Armageddon, many things. I think that just following Taven as a brand new protagonist so soon after Shijinko just didn't lend itself well to setting up everything else that was going on. I was upset by just how little focus was placed on the fact that you've got all these villains kind of teaming up and scheming together, and Reptile's okay, and you just kind of see him back at the base, and Shijinko's doing his own thing. Like, I would have framed the narrative much better. I would have, I don't know, straight up started... I would have started shit off at the end of Deception to start things off. I would have set pieces up a bit better before I got into, this is Taven, he's our new protagonist, this is where we're going with him. It felt weird, disjointed. That's all I can really say.
It's the one thing that kind of bothers me about the setup of Armageddon is that it's like a complete mystery how long it's been since Deception. I think that was it. Yesterday? Has it been a week? Has it been 6 months to a year?
I came into the game and I'm like, the hell's happening? Oh, okay. Nightwolf took care of shit. Oh, how long ago was this? Did they go home or what? What's the deal? Like, you're in there and you have no idea where you are.
Yeah, it just
happened.
You sort of, from the bios, you get a sense that everybody went home, back to their lives, a little bit of time passed, and then Johnny Cage is running around going, Shinnok's coming back, we gotta unite the team.
I like that image.
It just... Ring, White Lotus Society, who's this? It's Johnny Cage!
And I like you read Fujin's bio and it's like, so Johnny says that Shinnok's coming back, and I don't necessarily believe him because it's Johnny. Seems unlikely.
I mean, that's a fucking chapter in a fucking conquest mode right there. It's Johnny Cage, Fujin! Why won't you hear me? Kif Kroger noises.
How did you get this number?
All right, well, let's keep on rolling here. Evan K says, "Can guys answer questions?" I don't know. Girls can too.
Guys,
which guys?
I don't know.
Can Wolverine children?
Can guys answer questions on the encyclopedia? If so, can we agree WB can go fuck themselves? Razor, do you want to quickly...
That seems extreme.
Razor, do you want to quickly address that from your perspective?
So, WB totally has the right to say no.
Yeah,
like it's their thing. And I know that the other guys on the cycle, because I'm just a writer for the thing, right?
I just work here. Yeah.
Exactly. So I don't know a lot of the behind the scenes publishing details of them trying to get the book to be official and to get published. So I don't necessarily expect it to happen, because this is totally like a fan thing. It's like, what's the difference between this and the Mugen guys who were making MKHD, which Django was a part of? They would have, I think, just as much luck getting NetherRealm's permission to make their game a real game. Like, that's just sort of the nature of fan stuff. Like,
yeah, I mean, I'm gonna jump in
it's
here.
a little bit.
I
It's a
agree.
little bit presumptuous to just think, well, we don't have the right, but we're going to make a whole product anyway, and then once it's done, we'll be like, it's already done, all you got to do is say yes. I mean, that's a lot of like work and effort to put into something with no guarantee. And I can understand being upset when it doesn't pay off, but I can't say that I would be surprised. Like, I don't think that's...
Yeah, I mean, you run that, you know what you risk you're running when you even spend your time to do these things. You know that at the end of the day, at any point, any moment, any second, the person that owns those properties can just say, no, we don't want you doing that. I mean, that's their rights. It's basically take all of Razor, let me just back it up. I'm just gonna back it up. Take all of Razor's fan fiction that he writes. At any point, if I just start compiling that into my own book and saying, hey, I'm going to compile all this and do what I want with what Razor has, at any point, technically, I mean, if he owns those properties, he can just say, no, I don't like what you're doing here, or, you know, I just don't want you to do that. I mean, that's anybody's right when they're putting, you know, content like that. Like, when we put up shows, you know, if we put up our podcast and a bunch of people start, like, doing their own things with our podcast and messing with them and combining them and then putting up on their own YouTube channel. I mean,
if someone else was to re-upload episodes of the Nethercast, we could totally shut them down.
I mean, that's kind of the point of, you know, when you own the content that you're creating, when you are the creators, you get to make that choice. I mean, yes, there are some people, some businesses, some companies that allow those fan things to exist. Some might even encourage it. I mean, that's cool. That's great when they do that. But I don't necessarily think you can demonize or condemn a company when they put their foot down. To me, that's their right to do that. So
as far as I understand it, it's licenses are a business. All we have to do, like all the producer level guys on the encyclopedia have to do to make the book a thing is give WB a certain amount of money, and it is a large amount of money, and we can't kickstart it because that would be against the fair use rules to try and, because we'd be trying to make money off the MK license before we have it.
Sure.
So it's just a matter of that's the hurdle. It's money. I mean, which is absolutely fair. Like, they own the thing. If we want to use the thing, we have to pay to use the thing.
I mean, we sometimes use the MK logo. I mean, that's why I've stopped. If you notice in any of our logos and stuff, I don't include the MK logo anymore, and it's for a reason. It's
there are levels of fair use, though. Like,
there's no cease and desist or anything like that. It's just future proofing. We don't need the Mortal Kombat logo in any of our stuff to be who we are. Just like, if Django's music, if eventually one day they put their foot down and say, you can't use that, even though you've changed the music, it's still, you know, it's still technically that music.
Yeah,
or
like there are legal protections on cover songs, but the way YouTube works is they don't really go through the right channels when they take a thing down.
Right.
Like, they just, if you get a report, they don't check it to make sure it's legit. They just take the thing down.
Yeah. My point is, if WB sends us a C&D, you know, that they send us a cease and desist, don't use the Mortal Kombat logo, don't use any MK renders or any of this stuff. It's like, who are we to really fight that, I guess? I mean, we just kind of, I don't want that kind of, you know, kickback from them. I just want to be able to exist in what we do. Because at the end of the day, like I said, we could have a black logo. We could have no music in front of the podcast. We don't need any of that stuff to do what we do, to talk about it. All that's just extra fluff.
And I would like to think, in fact, I can say virtually without coming as close as I can without actually being a member of the development team, I believe that the people who work on this game or most any other game are passionate, and they're very happy to see fans as dedicated as a lot of us are, provided, we bitch and complain a lot. But they wouldn't want us to stop based on like what logos we do or do not use. They're happy that we're out there and like we have love for what they're doing.
Sure.
I've had some wine. That seems a bit out of nowhere. I'm just, I'm feeling the love for my franchise. Still mine.
Sure. Yes. Okay. Well, but anyways,
there is a weird perspective I want to offer here. Like, I wish everyone involved with the encyclopedia a lot of luck.
Absolutely.
And it's a cool thing to see get off the ground. But I kind of feel that trying to put the MK lore, the history, into a concrete form is not so much a fool's errand, but it's kind of doomed to be instantly dated the next time the game, Well, it's inevitable.
One of the
this is not just this franchise. This is everything. But there's another layer to this where it's like the MK fan base has been passing down the history, kind of in almost there's this weird, almost shamanistic oral tradition of
there is sort of a stories around the campfire level to the way we talk about it online.
That's kind of, I don't know if it's the way it should be, but I don't think that even the presence of a concrete encyclopedia would impede that from being the way that these things continue to be discussed and so much, handed down.
There's two levels to the purpose of the book. And the first level is obviously just because the fans would like to have a physical thing, and I totally understand that.
Oh god, absolutely.
But you're absolutely right that the moment another game comes out, suddenly that encyclopedia is out of date. And that's the problem with, like, buying a Marvel encyclopedia or a DC encyclopedia. Eventually you have to get a new one.
Yeah.
If you want to stay up to date.
These things, they're good as time capsules of the period in which they come out as. Like, and I can go back and I can buy, like, a 1995 Marvel encyclopedia and be like, fuck yeah, Jubilee, rock that trench coat.
Like, I 100% get the wanting to have things in physical meat space, but that book will never be able to compete with a wiki.
Sure.
Just in terms of like the purpose of cataloging. Like, if you want a quick place to go to read somebody's bio, the wiki is always going to be much handier than a physical book.
Right, and it'll be up to date and yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways.
The second purpose of the book, though, is the hope that if you have like a physical series Bible, you can give a copy to the devs and they'll stop fucking up.
There is
that. I was thinking of as well. I was like, there's actually something they can look at to reference.
It's not gonna matter.
Yeah, like
it's not gonna
John
matter.
Vogel obviously has memory problems. Like, I have on Twitter reminded him of his own writing before. He needs a book.
But there's a wiki that he could be going to.
Yeah, but
and
he
chooses not to. But that's my point. He's not going to open up a book.
He would have done that by now, you know?
He's not going to open it.
Is it even him writing this shit anymore? It's not him writing this shit anymore.
He's a supervisor. He sits at a desk. Other people write it, but they're clearly not really looking things up either.
Anyways, let's move on. Yeah, it is what it is. I don't condemn the company, though. It's just, it's their choice to make.
Has anyone really been far, even as decided to want to look more like? I don't think so.
These are old memes. This is a deep cut.
So next up we have from Shad. He says, kill, marry, fuck, Kylo Ren, Grievous, and Snoke.
We can skip this one. It's okay.
I don't even know what Grievous... What is Grievous again? Who's that?
General Grievous is the robot from episode 3.
That has asthma.
Robot with lightsabers.
He's the one that's been smoking for a long time.
It's been so long since I've seen episode 3. I don't know.
I just brought this up because I kind of want you to picture General Grievous in like an apron. Welcome home, General Kenobi. Netflix and chill.
See, are you talking about the guy that's like, oh, hey there, Annie, I sell you auto parts?
That's Watto.
Okay, I was about to say the giant fly-looking dude with the little stubbly beard. Okay, well, on. Battle Sticks says, fuck, marry, kill, Luke, New Hope, Luke, Return of the Jedi, Luke, The Last Jedi. Oh,
right,
boy. I'm gonna go...
Fuck Return of the Jedi, Luke.
Okay.
Kill New Hope, Luke. Marry Last Jedi, Luke.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah. Okay, but real question, though.
I mean, he does preface it with real question. What would be a satisfying story presence for your character in MK11? Let's try and keep this, timely, because he's looking for an answer from each of us. He says, what would be a satisfying story presence for your character in MK11? For me, he quoted Cyrax. For Shad, Smoke, Razor, Serena, and Templey May. What would you want you do? What would you want your favorite character to do in MK11 that you would find satisfying?
Do you want to go first?
No.
Okay. I'll go first.
I'd have to think about that.
I'll go first.
Okay. Somebody has to.
Smoke, I guess, because I mean, mine's gonna be really quick.
Go for it, please.
Spends an hour beating Quan Chi to death again with his own leg. Goes over to Raiden, beats him to death with his own leg. Goes over to Noob Saibot and goes, remember that thing in the other continuity? No. Okay, well then, beats him with his own leg. I guess my answer is literally anything. I mean...
I'm sort of...
If I can...
See, that's kind of where I'm going with Cyrax, is to be anything other than an oil sign would be nice.
It's either, like...
Low expectations over here.
The thing I want the most is for him to, like, not be left by the wayside and discarded. If you're gonna show him dissipating or dying or what have you, fine, do it. Don't leave him to wander the wastes of the Netherrealm for all eternity as a fucking... I don't want to see that happen. I don't want that to be the final fate for any of these characters. And that goes as much for Smoke as it does for, like, Kung Lao or anyone. It's a shitty way to see your characters go up, because all of these characters, all of them, have fan bases. And I'm able to deal a lot better when one of my characters is dead and gone than knowing that they're alive and they have no will of their own. So that's it. I want closure for the Wraiths. That's what I would like. It's either they're freed or they're laid to rest.
Yeah,
I know that asking them to come back is probably too much at this point, because they made such a big deal out of saying, oh, how incredible it was that they actually managed to free James. Fine,
well, Smoke in particular, though, like, that whole being in an Enra thing was supposed to make him special from the rest of the Revenants. Like, he didn't just die, he went home.
If they can just confirm that for us, then that's great.
Yeah, like, that's all I want for Smoke, is to see being in an Enra mean something.
Yeah, pretty much. Just don't have it be futile. That's all I ask.
Alright, for Cyrax, for me, like, being realistic, if he's gonna die, I just want it to be in a way that brings some sort of resolution to his character. To me, destroying himself and a bunch of cyborgs isn't resolution. It's an unnecessary death. It's a completely avoidable death. It's not a heroic death. It's just a stupid death. He doesn't need.
I could conceive of an argument where it is a resolution. But you'd have to build up him wanting to commit suicide before that, and not just do it all of a sudden in one panel.
To me, for Cyrax to have a death that I feel like has meaning to it, he needs to go out basically either saving somebody else in a way that shows that he still has his human side to him, or I don't know, maybe had the Takunin taken over and they were like this giant threat, and then he runs into the middle of them and destroys them all by blowing himself up, that's a hero's death. Not having a bunch of cyborgs that they could have technically used if they wanted to, But then they just chose, no, they're monsters, so I need to destroy them, and I'll destroy myself at the same time. Like I said, it's not necessary. They could have put a bomb in a building and told all the cyborgs to run in there, and he could have lived. I mean, there's no reason he basically treated himself like an abomination, and he wanted to kill himself and them.
The thing about that scene is that he doesn't self-destruct himself, like his MK3 fatality. He sets the base to self-destruct and chooses to stay there.
He's not the fucking captain of the ship, though. This doesn't make any sense. So,
yeah,
to me, like I said, if he's gonna run into the middle of Takunin when they're taking over, and he stops,
he could have walked out the door with Sub-Zero.
Sure, that's my point. That's my point. So either he needs to die in a heroic fashion that actually makes sense and makes you feel like the character legitimately sacrificed his life for the greater good, or he needs to further progress. If he wants to, keep going with Sub with the Lin Kuei, or go the, find Kenshi and go that route, or that. I'm fine with either of those.
I miss when he was in the Special Forces.
I'm fine with that too.
They were able to take some of the armor off him, make him feel more like RoboCop or whatever.
Give me that, or give me him sticking with Sub. I think either or would be cool. But yeah, I mean, I just want to see something with him that is at least has some sort of substance to it. I don't want to see him in the background as nothing any more than I want to see him just completely left out of it and not mean anything.
Oh my god.
So.
Remember, this is just me waxing nostalgic a little bit here, but remember when our aspirations for ours back in the 3D era were, stuff like Smoke's got to get his humanity back and he's got to have this great big happy ending. Now we just want something,
Yeah,
I just want him not.
We just want something.
Just leave. I still maintain he was one of the surviving characters. There is absolutely no reason why he didn't get anything. There was no mention of him whatsoever, other than that stupid oil sign.
I thought he was coming back. I was super surprised.
I know you were the only person that was somewhat convincing me that he'd be in there, and I hate you for it. But go ahead and
I think all of us were surprised. All of us were surprised that MKX didn't have any cyber ninjas.
But look at me! Cyrax is running late for the bus. Fuck off. That means he's DLC. Anyways, go ahead.
Yeah, really, there's two things I want for Li Mei. One is something I want for all the characters I like.
To be playable?
Say again?
To be playable?
Yeah. Oh, that stings. That goes a ways back.
I'm sorry, man, but I mean,
okay.
even at this point, man, I'm feeling bad for you, and I didn't care for the character much at all, ever. She's just kind of cool and kind of there, but I mean, Jesus, man, I hope they give you something.
I think they will. I think Li Mei has a very, very strong. I mean, if the leaks are true, she's in. But I don't even want to think about that right now. That's a strange subject. I'm still trying.
That's setting yourself up for disappointment.
Yeah, that's a bad way to go.
So I think she has a good way or a good chance of being in. And if she is in, there's only two things I want. One is something I want for every character I like, and that's to have meaningful relationships with other characters. They don't even really have to be important, but just meaningful relationships that survive the span of the game. And if she becomes the Dragon Queen, that's not really possible. I wouldn't mind her becoming the Dragon Queen if she sort of reverts back after Onaga dies, but she's permanently scarred from being, just spiritually tainted.
Yeah, like a redemption arc thing would be. That's what I thought they were going to do with her after Deception.
In a way, they did it because she did fight. I thought she had a good showing in Armageddon.
She had that one scene where she's fighting Shinnok, but you don't know why she's there.
Well, you sort of answered. I remember we talked about this a long time ago in the forums. How her soul really was tainted after Onaga was destroyed, and there really was nowhere to go.
If she died at the end of Deception, I'm saying those were all theory crafting. I wish they had explained this was what it was, but. As it stands in the game, she's just there. And then later they hint that she wasn't really even there in the first place, that everybody Shinnok made Taven fight was an illusion.
Oh,
which raises the question, why does Shinnok know who Li Mei is and chose her to be the illusion?
Yeah, there's probably no good answer to that.
No.
I don't think they thought nearly as hard as we did on that. But
No, it's a problem.
I'll take whatever they give me as long as it A, is long-term relevant, and B, they match her with interesting characters. That's really the first thing I want. The second thing I want is just you know, she was kind of, you know, known for being a martial arts talent. Make that relevant. I think teaming her up with Bo Right Show was a very smart move. Maybe do that again. You don't have to do that again, but if you do it. Just preserve what worked with the character. And if I'm going to kind of walk on Shadowloo's turf here and comment on Smoke, the only thing I've ever wanted for Smoke is for Sub-Zero to reciprocate the same friendship and loyalty that Smoke has done nothing but for his entire bios throughout the whole experience.
That's the reach around.
That's all I've wanted.
The problem in both timelines is that Sub-Zero can't, like, talk about his friend because his friend is usually dead or appears so.
God, it hurts when you say it like that, but man, I wish Sub-Zero showed something that indicated some sort of compassion or care for his friend, dead or alive, ever.
Like,
It just sucks. It's just like his friend and ally. Since when? Back that shit up.
It's a pretty one-way, yeah?
I choose to believe that between Deception and Armageddon, that whole scene where Sub-Zero follows them to the Netherrealm, I choose to believe that the reason he followed them is because he saw Smoke, and he's like, he's still alive? Noob Saibot has him. I gotta go rescue him. That's what I would like to think.
Yeah.
They don't say that.
Yeah.
They don't give any reason at all why he would follow Noob Saibot into the Netherrealm before he knows that Noob is his brother. So I would like to think it's because he saw Smoke and wanted his friend back.
There is more story content to support that Sub-Zero cares about Noob Saibot than there is that he cares about Smoke. There's so little.
It's been bothering me since Deception.
It's been bothering me since MK3. Because that was the last time they were friends, really.
There was a reason for that, though. Like, they had the quote enigma of Smoke going on. Like,
yeah, but
playing as
no
was the
reason not
only
to
way.
put him in MK4.
Well, a lot of people did make MK4. A lot of them. Smoke was just one of many. But I mean,
but Sector and Cyrax were both in.
Razor.
I think they just didn't know what to do with the dude.
I know.
For ages. They were like, why would we have a robot Scorpion? And they just didn't understand it was time to just go back on what they just did a little bit.
Like, they gave Jade all new moves. What's stopping them from making him not Scorpion?
I don't know. I don't think that they knew what to do with him. They were like, we gotta give him Smoke stuff, but we don't know how to give him Smoke stuff. Whatever. Let's explore other paths. Hey, this guy can use telekinesis.
Razor.
You know, even in the modern era, I think they're still kind of struggling thinking of things Smoke can do because they've always been.
Which they shouldn't, because I mean, we live in this brand new exciting era where, like, we understand the concept of the elemental warrior who can fucking do anything with his power. They made Rain a credible, terrifying threat with a water stream. Following that, we can do anything with Smoke we fucking feel like doing. And MK9 proved that to me.
I still think the MK9 stuff is kind of strange. Like, he throws a ball at you and you teleport. Like, I feel like if you're working
it is weird.
It's weird, but I will deal with it because ninjas vanish in their puff of smoke. Maybe their message is the smoke makes you literally vanish. Okay, I will accept it.
Yeah, it's something. It's something.
So yeah, I mean, if they really do expand upon it, where Smut is Smoke's like primary ability is that he can teleport shit. It's like the opposite of Nightcrawler. Okay, yeah, cool, but yeah, just keep going. Make it like official. Don't just make it feel like temporary bullshit, which is a problem I've had with a lot of special moves. Deception had a lot of that dirt. So, but that's my answer. I want to see that Sub-Zero cares about Smoke. So, you know, it's only been 15 fucking years, so yeah.
It would be nice to have some sort of gesture.
Yeah.
All right, Razor, lightning fast. We're about 25 minutes over, and we still need to bring people on for discussion. So, what do you got?
All right. Just let me go. Okay. So, Serena, I already got the just put her in the game part. You know, I've already been through that. And it was great to see that they remember who she is and they care. But, like, she only interacted with fucking Jax and Kenshi, characters that have nothing to do with her. So all I want from her in MK11 is to interact with Kuai Liang, and to interact in a way that doesn't have to right then and there confirm a romance subplot, but make one possible. Like, don't make them enemies to each other. Don't portray Kuai Liang as a sexless guy who can't be attracted to women. You know?
Agreed, 100% with all that.
Fair enough.
That's all I want. I just want him and her to share scenes where they are, on the same side and could go somewhere.
Preferably fucking. All right.
That would be the end goal, yes.
Yes.
I want an MK13 that has the Sub-Zero the 8th, who is half demon.
All right, so if anybody wants to come on the show, we do have that section that says message to come on the show. Give us the purple eggplant symbol if you are wanting to come on. You're just going to bring you on for whatever you want to talk about, and then we'll cycle you out if anybody else wants to come on, and then we'll wrap things up here. All right, so Snake Eyes, will bring you on since I see you've put that fat eggplant into there. So give me a second. I'm going to change your role real quick. I'm going to cycle you in and cycle you out, and then doop-a-doo, and then here we go. Okay. All right, what's up, bud?
All hail the great Thanos penis.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay,
No,
I see it. Yeah, all right.
I was talking with Redman about this. Like they're gonna have guest characters in MK11. That's unavoidable. What guest characters do you want to have that's not from preferably from a game that isn't from a horror movie or anything like that?
Son of a bitch. Okay.
Somebody from another game, okay.
I actually answered this in the Warrior Shrine, and I will say it again, or technically for the first time, Raziel. And that's my answer.
Ooh, nice. Is it just because you want to see Michael Bell do something else before he dies?
Yes. That's one reason, but I also really do love Raziel. A lot of love.
Shout out to Raziel. I love those games.
Oh yeah.
Anybody else got one? I'm still trying to even think of one from another game.
Doom Guy.
Nice. That might be a little OP.
The actual fucking floating WB logo with a pair of arms and legs. And all of its moves are going waka waka waka, give me more money.
This isn't Fighting Viper, Shad.
But it could be.
It could be. Where you could play as like the Daytona car, the AM2.3.
Guest characters. That's
yeah, I know it, but it's like it's one of those things where it's like
I can't
take
do
your
it,
medicine.
man. I can't. No, I don't wanna. It's Buckley's, and it doesn't even work for me.
The only one I can think of, I'm not even a fan of the series really, but the only one I can think of is like one of the main characters from Assassin's Creed, just because I like that aesthetic of, like a old assassin like
figure?
that. Yeah, I think it looks cool. Give him the wrist blades and all that. Could be fun, and I just think it could make for some like cool gameplay. That's all.
Yeah, I mean,
Soul Calibur 5.
Yeah, I was gonna say like Ezio was in Soul Calibur 5.
Oh, okay, didn't even know.
Yeah, I was gonna
that game
say
sucks. Don't buy it. But yeah, go on, say
mine was actually Lo Wang from the Shadow Warrior shooters.
I can see that.
Because I think he's like the perfect character who's got the the kind of like humor and self-awareness that would fit really well with Mortal Kombat, and plus he has like all of the chi powers. He's got the katana. He's got all the like guns and stuff. So like you could actually do some cool stuff with him, and you could have like Hoji, that little demon from the first game, with him as like for some extra powers or like some interactions. So I think just having somebody like that, like a third, like a D-list video game character, but somebody who's actually pretty popular.
Yeah, flavor-wise,
just buy the rights to Way of the Warrior off Jason Rubin for like $5 and put like Fox in the game or something, and it's technically a guest character. Okay, no, you know what? Actually, take one of those fuckers from War Gods. The game literally no one remembers that they did.
I remember War Gods.
Because that actually had, like, honestly, that actually had some okay fighting character designs.
I like Bloody Roar.
Bloody Roar, yeah. Good luck with that one. Konami owns the rights to that.
Bloody Roar was alright. Bloody Roar was like the go-to before we had a story mode where I'd go, why don't they just make it like that?
Yeah.
Because it was basically like comic booky, like still and text.
I don't think the world was ready for Bloody Roar. I think it would have done a lot better if it came out these days.
Rumor has it G from Street Fighter 5 AE is Greg from Bloody Roar. That's a rumor. No one knows for sure, but
Huh.
there is some interesting arguments for that.
Let me Google
funny.
this. Let me Google this.
The Uncle Sam
Greg.
guy?
The
Yes.
president dude.
Oh yeah, remember we had like that whole.
Oh my sweet fucking god! It's totally him.
Well, there's
Oh,
a whole.
God, it's the fucking baboon guy.
If
This
Greg
is-
doesn't have like 4th of July hit sparks, like fireworks going off anytime he hits somebody or gets hit, that's a missed opportunity.
Huh.
This is genius.
Yeah, check the quote I just posted, Shadowloo. They actually have a lot of the theories behind it. I don't know if it's true. I think it would be
Oh, it's
interesting.
utter bullshit, but it's beautiful utter bullshit.
There's some interesting, like the Gorilla and Ed story mode is associated with G symbol in the trailer, so
Huh.
there's
I
some
think
stuff
it's-
there.
I don't know, man. I think it's kind of a fact that you can't really have a top hat in a guy and not give him a beard. And
I mean,
really own
what
that.
is Dead Hudson doing with the property? I mean, I don't think it's impossible.
Nothing.
at
Konami
least.
owns it.
Oh, Konami? Oh, fuck that.
Yeah, like that thing is as good as dead.
Yeah, that's
Well,
the
they're
way.
making- I mean, what are they doing? Working
Well,
on like
If you
Yeah.
asked them, they'd be like, "Can we turn it into a pachinko machine? If not, fucking do what you want."
Can we
with
turn
it."
it into an
I
erotic
think that's
pachinko
very
machine?
realistic.
Erotically violent pachinko machine? What the fuck? Is... Oh
know-
god! I
Or
wish
can
it
we
was 20
make?
years
Can we
ago,
remake
man.
everybody in Kick-Ass? What was the engine that used Metal Gear Solid 5? That MGS5
Oh,
used.
Jesus.
Yeah, let's make everything in in that engine, in the Fox engine, and just never do anything with it. Put it on a pachinko display board.
Yeah, that is strange.
You know, his gorilla form looks like Ultra Humanite.
A little bit.
Man, people went in depth with this fucking thing.
Well, like I said,
People
there's some
want Bloody
stuff
Roar
there.
back.
It's interesting. So
Yeah.
I'm not saying I believe it. I'm not saying I don't believe it. I'm just saying it might be nice. You know, it'd be cool.
I dug it.
I liked Bloody Roar.
Bloody Roar
I
was
mained
good.
the mole.
I mained
Oh,
the wolf guy, the main guy.
Bakuryu.
Nice.
And the lion guy was my secondary. But anyways, good stuff. Thanks for coming on, Snake Eyes.
Sure thing.
I appreciate it, dude.
Appreciate
I
that
kind of
was-
wanted to bone the bunny chick when I was a kid.
I think everyone did Shadowloo. I think a lot of people still do.
All right.
That's
So if
that's a
anyone
dark
else,
road to go down.
I mean, the real answer though, if I had to give my real answer, it'd be Yoshi from Super Mario, just to piss everyone off.
Right.
Anybody else want to? If anybody else wants to come on the show and discuss a topic, whatever you
Why
want
would
to
that
discuss,
piss anyone off? Everybody loves Yoshi.
everybody does love Yoshi. All right, we got
What's up,
Colbs. Colbs from Adinia. Let me get you on here 1 second. Just got to change your role and then do a little bit of this magic and then do a little bit of that. All right, and hey, what's going on?
Am I
Colbs?
good?
Yep,
All
you're
right,
good.
what's up?
Hey.
What's up?
What's up, dude?
My question would be, when the game gets announced next year, what
You don't
6
know that.
characters? Oh, true. We don't know that. It's in the air. It's in the air. Gotta get the budget. When the game gets announced, or if it does get announced, what 6 characters do you think are going to be the initial 6? Because I think they did 6 with Injustice
Oh,
2
geez,
and
yeah.
with MKX. So I guess it should be the 4 with Scorpion Sub-Zero.
Yeah,
I'm
who's-
gonna say 3 are new right there.
Also
If we're going
rated-
the reason just so I can only pick 3 characters.
Yeah,
It's
I
also-
think if they
you know
do
what?
a new character, they'll
This-
probably do them in the initial.
This whole thing, it's kind of becoming kind of a trilogy of people. They're kind of throwing Raiden in with everything marketing-wise that they can. Like, from toys and, like, shit. It's Scorpion, it's Sub-Zero, and Raiden's a third.
Yeah, they have been
So-
pushing Raiden a lot lately.
Yeah, those 3. Jesus. Probably Goro if he's gonna be he's just such a recognizable face. I
Yeah,
would
feel
like
like they'll do like a female too, like Tanya or someone like that.
Yeah, you gotta
I think
have
at this
probably one
point it's
female.
going to be Cassie.
That's true. Yeah,
it's either Cassie or Katana.
yeah.
Well, at least one of them's a good choice, but yeah,
I agree with that, Katana. Favorite.
of course.
Part of me wants to say Johnny. Ideally, a part of me wants to say Shang Tsung as well, but that's not good. Shang Tsung just doesn't have the kind of face that marketing kind of really needs. And if they do announce him, he'd have his own like, because they know the fan base or some sections of the fan base are a little bit nuts for Shang. So Shang would not. John has got a good chance though. I think John is a bit of a good face character.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like
who they should pick or who they will pick.
Who they will
I
pick.
wonder if Johnny. I wonder if Johnny is going to be one of those guys who, because Cassie is so much like him, he actually sits out.
I'm kind of hoping that.
That would be harsh. I guess if we're not gonna go the whole trilogy route of having every fucking character we can fit under the sun there, and like I said, let's be reasonable this time because it's probably not going to happen. Games are harder to make than ever; they're bigger than ever before, and the kind of skill we're talking about is just fucking unprecedented. Assuming that kind of trilogy game. If I had to choose between the two of them, even at this point, as much as I do love Johnny, I probably would have to say bring Cassie in. We put the work in developing her, building her up. Same for Jackie, I'd say, honestly.
My guess for the 6 would be Sub-Zero, Scorpion, Cassie, 2 new characters, and then somebody from the 3D games just to kind of get people's, hyped up, I guess. Maybe I don't know, fuck it, Fujin. I'll go all in and just there it is.
I don't think that's terribly unlikely.
Oh, yeah, I feel like that's
you
good,
think that.
I'll say 2 new characters. That leaves you 4. And of the 4, I think so far with MKX characters that set the tone for the roster.
Yeah, that's what I was
especially.
thinking.
So I'm going to say Jade, Noob Saibot, Scorpion, and not Sub-Zero. They're going to reveal Frost, and then Sub-Zero will be revealed later down the reveal line.
That'd be awesome if they did.
That'd be an interesting little turn on things.
That is much more ambitious than I think they can be.
It's a nice thought, though.
Probably, but
you know what? Aaron Black. I think Aaron stands a pretty good chance of being one of the initial round of people revealed. People latched onto that dude.
I'm expecting though for the Scorpion Sub-Zero cinematic trailer thing for the first announcement.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. Because in MK9, Scorpion wasn't revealed until the E3 display show, so it's hard to say for sure if they'll do that twice. It would be nice to actually have to wait and see what Sub-Zero looks like to get hyped for Sub-Zero. Like that might actually be. We haven't done that before. I don't think we've done that since fucking Deadly Alliance.
It would be nice to get a cinematic trailer that has like a couple different characters, like the MK9 one where it was like Jackson Molina fighting on the pit, and then Raiden and Shao Kahn in the arena.
Right.
Like they did with Injustice 2 too. They had like the arena kind of battle. I think that'd be cool.
Man, what if they went full on Beard Zero for an next trailer?
Full beard, ZZ Top style.
No, maybe not ZZ Top, but there's been kind of like this beard sauce about video games lately. Like, you've got like Dad Ryu and like Dad Luke Skywalker. It's very in vogue for a lot of characters to actually be rocking these giant bits of facial hair, and Sub-Zero hasn't exactly been a slouch when it comes to this stuff. I think they could actually have like non-ninja Sub-Zero in an opening MK11 game trailer and get away with it. I'd love to see it.
I think he looks great with the beard, but I don't think you're going to see like his primary be maskless.
It'd be interesting. I think that they could get away with it. The mask is iconic, but I don't know if it's necessary. They could go for a kind of midway between ninja and maskless.
Here's my thing. Here's my thing is that NRS never has their finger quite on the pulse. They're always like a year or two behind on trends. So they're going to realize a game too late that it's time to let go of the nostalgia thing as the primary push and show us new stuff. That's my fear.
Can you even have Scorpion as Scorpion in this opening trailer if he's running around? What do you do with this? The motherfucker's alive.
Yeah, the Hanzo we have now still can wear the costume though.
That's true. Yeah, yes. I was thinking that too.
And like they cheated. He got to keep his powers.
That's true. That's a good point. I
totally did.
About that, I never said it out loud, but that is true.
I don't know. I find it really interesting if we got if not a totally maskless, then a recognizably different look at at Scorpion and Sub-Zero, assuming it was to be another Scorpion Sub-Zero trailer. I think it'd be refreshing. I wouldn't stake my reputation on it or anything, but I'd like to see it.
It would be refreshing, but I don't know that like a marketing firm would go, yes, let's show them characters that they're not going to recognize. Because the casuals don't really know of Scorpion and Sub-Zero as maskless bearded guys.
Forward thinkingness and marketing teams typically don't go hand in hand. This is sadly in truth.
So like I think there's a certain amount of playing it safe you have to do, and that playing it safe is Ninja Scorpion, Ninja Sub-Zero in that first thing. But then you can also mix that with new shit, like put Jade in there instead of Raiden.
It sounds bad, but I can honestly see an unmasked Sub-Zero in an opening trailer before I see Jade in a trailer. Having a starring part would be cool. Having built up to her, I'm just not gonna stake my name on it.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for coming on, Kolbs.
No props. Thanks for having me.
Tuning in. Yeah, thanks
Cheers.
for the questions as well. See you later, dude.
Later.
Okay. All right. The only one else listening is Battlesticks. If you want to come on, go ahead and post in the thing. If not, we'll wrap this up. So we'll give that a minute. Just want to thank everyone for tuning in, first of all. And once again, happy holidays, everyone. Whatever you celebrate, all that good stuff. Everyone be safe. Have a good New Year's. You will hear from us again, probably around the new year. And we will finish out our favorites and least favorites part of...
Please don't drink and drive.
Yes, of course. Be responsible.
I fuck around and like hundreds of people die every year from fucking partying it up and going out and shoving hamsters up their asses or whatever it is you Christians do during this holiday season.
Don't judge me.
And
like that.
I would no. It's gonna.
First of all, it's a gerbil, not a hamster. I have a little bit of
hamster
respect.
therapy bills. I don't care. Have some respect for the things you're shoving up your ass and stop doing it. If you got it, at least have the decency to get the little fellow home safe and don't drink and drive.
He's the one that chose to go that direction in the tubes. All right. I gave him a fork in the road. One led to my own asshole. He made that choice. You can't take away his choice. He has the freedom to choose, and you'll never take that away.
I'm gonna go to bed tonight thinking of self-determination and freedom of will and hamsters and that. It's all your fault.
And on that note, Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, folks, and Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, too.
All the good stuff. See you later. Adios.
Oh, man, I have had so much to drink.
Ha 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 ha.